99 problems and I still kept it 100. Yeah, it's been a long time coming. They ain't covering my cloth, they tugging. Putting up numbers, 99 problems and I still kept it 100. Yeah, who don't play, bro, play, 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 who don't play.
Music licensing reimagined.
Play, who don't play, bro, play, 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 who don't play, bro, play, play, who don't. Long time coming, like on the bottom of my feet from running. Cataracts under my eyes from hustling. Going from buying to selling to customers. Run up the business, God is my witness. Sun up the sun up from Monday to Sunday. We maxing our limits. My mind running like Tom Cruise on an action movie. Moving the mission, they say that I'm tripping. I've been told I need a vacation. I'm finessing a visit.
Oh, what is up, everybody? Welcome to DFS by the Numbers and welcome to Stat Diggers for UFC Rio. We have Charles Oliveira going against Mateus Gamrot. We have a 13-fight card, and we are here, as always, starting right on time at 10:15 Eastern Time. And we're here with Uncle Weezy. What is up, Weezy? Are you looking forward to UFC Rio? On paper, looks like a pretty solid card for a fight night.
Yeah, man. If you ever go to Brazil, you better make sure that the card is chock full of Brazilians, and this one is exactly full of that. And yeah, I think it's going to be a fun card. We got the debut of Bia Mesquita. We got some young fighters on this card, like Lucas Rocha, like Clayton Carpenter, Jafel Filho, and Pinto. Pinto and Denise is going to be a fun fight too. Joel Alvarez is is replacing Santiago Ponzinibbio, fighting Vicente Luque. And finally, dude, I've been waiting for Montel Jackson to get that step up in competition for a minute now. And here he is in a co-main event in Rio de Janeiro against Davison Figueiredo. So, yeah, it's going to be – and then, I mean, obviously, Charles Oliveira. You know, it's Charles Oliveira fight week. This is going to be a fun one to break down. I'm looking forward to it, my man.
I mean, you don't want to see Montel Jackson fight like JP Bays or Jesse Strader.
Yeah, I remember when we were breaking down those fights, I was like, dude, this guy Jackson could kill 2/3 of the division. Why are we matching him up with these guys? Like, they made the Strader fight. Like, Strader wasn't stepping in for someone on short notice. You know, so it's like, what? This guy's a boxing coach for Aaron Carter, and we're gonna put him in there against Montel Jackson. We're really doing this. And yeah, there were a lot of like really weird fights. So it's good to see Montel get this step up in competition. This dude's for real. And, you know, if he wins this co-main event in Rio here, this is a big step up for him. We might see him getting top 5 opponents going forward, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'm looking forward as well. Looking forward to all these fights and breaking it down. Before we get into it, if you guys can do us a huge favor, like the video. Let's try to get it. We got to get at least 100 likes by the end of the show. I know there's a game going on. It's a shit game. But there is a game going on with the NFL back. But be sure to hit the like for us. If you guys are watching the replay, don't be afraid to leave a comment on the replay as well. We do appreciate that. And I did do a poll for this week's Get Some Help, and I put 4 options. Weezy, the options I put were Pat Mix. Option number 2 was Patrick Mix. Option number 3 is Patchy Mix. And option number 4 is Patty Mix. So vote to see who potentially needs help. A lot of options this week for that. And yeah, so we'll do a quick recap of last night, which was UFC 320. Really good card. I enjoyed the card. That was a really fun card. I'll kick it to you, Weezy. How did you do at UFC 320?
Yeah, it was a good week for me. A nice little bounce back week. I would think I was like 10-4 on my fight picks. My only money line bet was Daniel Santos. He got a nice clean second round knockout against Ju Sang Yu. I had 1.25 units on the under 1.5 rounds for the Edmund Shabazian fight. That hit. That was nice. Had a quarter unit on Farid Basharat to win by submission. He didn't really wrestle as much as I thought he would. So obviously that one did not hit. He wasn't really on the ground for that long. And then the other bet was a 1 unit probability parlay where I made a huge mistake, Brady. I had Davalishvili by decision. I had Yuri inside the distance. And then instead of having Pyfer inside the distance, I had Pyfer by KO. That was a plus 616 that I had 1 unit on. So if I had been a lot smarter and not made that mistake and just went Pyfer KO or Pyfer inside the distance instead of Pyfer KO, it would have been a really good week for me. But yeah, the ass shaving of the week was Pyfer. He looked pretty good in the second round there. I liked the Jiri inside the distance pick, and he looked phenomenal in the third round. Yuri did it. That was a a absolutely perfect Yuri Prohaska fight. I mean, that's what he does. Goes out there, he absorbs your best shots, he starts putting on the pressure, and he breaks you in the second half of the fight. The greasy four-legger hit, Brady, that was Daniel Santos money line, Pfeiffer inside the distance, Yuri inside the distance, and the fight or the over 4.5 rounds in the Sandhagen-Dvalishvili fight. Hit my prize picks play. I gave out all my content last week for free on YouTube for the UFC 320 card. Got a bunch of new subscribers to the probability stats and content package. Had I think I was up like 1.25 units tracked on my track bets, but I only had like 4.25 units of tracked bets because there were a lot of wide lines on that card. There weren't a lot of closely lined fights, and I was picking mostly favorites, so I just wasn't seeing anything that was like screaming at me to bet it. But, stayed small, made a little bit, had a great week on DraftKings DFS. So it was an all-around really good week for me. How about you?
Yeah, it was, I think, my third best night of the year. I had, I think, like 24 units on the line, or like 25, something like that. So I went kind of crazy on the card, and that was because a lot of spots were sticking out. I'll start with my losses first. I had 1.25 units on Jason inside the distance and the 2-3 props, and it's like, I mean, she could have easily finished Santos had she just wrestled a little bit sooner. She didn't get a takedown until about 4 minutes, until 1 minute left in the third round, and we saw what happened once she got on top. I mean, she almost choked her out. But yeah, Santos came out hot, looking pretty good. But I thought Macy should have really attempted more takedowns. She really didn't attempt many at all. I think she attempted maybe two or three. But so I was kind of disappointed in the fight IQ. I really thought that she could, get the fight down to the ground and finish the fight. I also thought that Miesha Tate could do it, and they both got close. So I guess Yana Santos is now a top 5 bantamweight because Chazon was top 5. Maybe one day somebody will take her down and finish her. And when that happens, I'll be there. And I'll cash that finish prop. But I didn't get it last night because Macy Chazon came out there with a very, very bad game plan, in my opinion. The other losses were Patchy Mix, inside the distance, and sub. Just a really, really bad performance. I thought the Batista fight, it wasn't the best look, but it was against Batista. It wasn't the most favorable matchup in the world. He was making his debut. Batista's a pretty good fighter, well-rounded fighter, good everywhere. I kind of gave him a pass for the Batista fight, and then he goes out there and somehow, some way loses to Jakub Viklach. I mean, it just doesn't make much sense to me. It's like he forgot how to grapple all of a sudden. I mean, this guy's such a high-level grappler, but it really didn't show in that fight. Did I think he won the fight? Yeah, I thought he won the fight, but the fact that it was even that close against Jakub Viklach was just a very, very big disappointment. So missed on the Patchy Mix, inside the distance, and sub. I really couldn't believe that performance. I also missed on the Corey Sandhagen plus 9.5 point spread, which means he needed to win just 3 rounds. And I thought he won 2 rounds, 3 total rounds out of
15, right?
50, 3 total rounds out of 15. And I thought he won the first. I mean, very clearly, I thought the first was really not a hard round to score, but one judge actually gave Merab the first. And then I thought he won the 4th round, doing the better work in the first 4.5 minutes. And then Merab had that front headlock, really didn't threaten at all with a sub. But yeah, so I gave Sandhagen 1 and 4, which obviously would have cashed the 9.5. And then you can maybe give Merab a 10-8 in the second, which you can, and still would have cashed at 9.5 had the judges gave Sandhagen 1 and 4. But they kind of flip-flopped the rounds. Some judges gave Sandhagen round 1. Some judges gave Sandhagen round 4. So somehow, some way, missed the plus 9.5 point spread. If that hits, it's at an 11.11 unit night for me. So that sucked. But as far as the wins, I had 4 units total on the Shabazian fight. I had 2 units on the under 1.5, and then I had 2 units on Shabazian 1-2. And I was not loving those bets. I was not loving the pace of the fight. It even looked like Muniz was having some success in the striking. Shabazian was kind of taking his time, and then all of a sudden he landed a big shot and then put down Muniz and finished him. I mean, Muniz is just so chinny. It kind of looked to me like Shabazian bet the over but Muniz was so chinny that that it didn't matter. So I think Shabazi might have lost his over bet there because it kind of looked like he was trying to go over. I had 6 hits total in the Gaudier fight with the under and Gaudier round 1 KO. And it kind of looked like Tristan Vines was trying to hit the over for a second, skirting on the outside. And then finally, Ateba Gaudier knocked him out. Best case scenario for Tristan Vines, by the way. And my prediction was wrong. I did predict a first round KO, but I predicted also that he would actually murder Tristan Vines, and that didn't happen. So was kind of right, but kind of wrong. Tristan Vines got out of there kind of unscathed. And then I had 3 units on Joe Pyfer inside the distance against Abus Magomedov. And I wasn't really loving the game plan early. He went out there and started grappling with Magomedov. I kind of didn't love it, but now that I think about it, it did make sense. He wanted to kind of wear out Magomedov. He kind of wanted to make him work, and that's exactly what he did. And once that first round ended, you could see that Magomedov was looking a little bit tired. And then once that second round started, Pyfer started putting on the pressure, landed a big shot, and then it was over shortly after. So that was a big bet on Pyfer inside the distance. But what made my night was had Yuri Prohashka, Khalil Roundtree fight ends by knockout for 2 units. And then I had Yuri Prohashka to win in rounds 2 or 3 by KO, 1.25 units at plus 280. So that was like a 4.45 unit win there with Yuri getting that 3rd round knockout. And it was funny. I was at the bar with my friend and he bet me. We did a bet. He had Khalil and I had Yuri, and he was just talking shit the whole time. He was talking shit the whole fight. He making fun of Yuri. I'm like, dude, just wait. He's taking his time and he's just talking his shit. I'm like, wait, just wait. And then finally, Yuri turns it on the 3rd round and breaks Khalil Roundtree like I expected and cashes that big round 3 prop. And that made my night right there. And then I had the fight ends by knockout in the main event. I wish I knew Pereira would have fought like that. It would have been a max bet. The fight ends by knockout was minus 105. I had 1.25 units on it. But overall, it was a good night. I finished up, I think, like 7.78 units. But it should have been bigger. It honestly should have been bigger. I mean, if Sandhagen would have got just 3 total rounds, it would have been an 11-unit night. If Macy Chazon wasn't a dumbass, it would have been like a 15-unit night. And if Patchy Mix didn't suck, it would have also been a 15-unit night. So I'm happy, though. Probably my 3rd best night of the year. And I was telling everybody on Clint's show last week, my reads have been really good the past 2 months. I went on a skid about 2.5, 3 months ago, and it was a bad skid. But my reads these last 2 months have been pretty dang good, seeing the board pretty clearly. And I went very hard in the paint last night, and it definitely paid off. So happy with how last night played out. And I'm happy Pereira's back, man. I mean, it's good. It's good that he went out there and knocked out Ankalaev. I mean, Ankalaev as a champion, it's just not something I want. I mean, who wants Magomed Ankalaev as a champion? Not me. Do you want him as a champion?
No, man. I mean, like, he's – I remember I was going to make a big bet just on fight doesn't go to decision, and I just couldn't do it because I was like, it's a Magomed Ankalaev fight. And if this guy fights like he's fought so many times before – how many times, Brady, have you and I had unders in Ankalaev fights and like wound up being on the phone in the 3rd or the 4th round of the fight? Like, when is this guy going to do anything?
Oh, God.
And so I kind of like immediately you saw Pereira right off the bat. I mean, like that fight wasn't going on for 2 seconds and Alex was in his face, putting him on the back foot. Like, all right, come on, dude, let's fucking go. And he just got him out of there so fast. It was over so fast, dude. How long did that take? Like a minute and 15 seconds, maybe?
About a minute 15 around there.
I mean, he went right out there on the front foot and was like, I am not playing this fucking cage push game with your ass this time, man. And yeah, it was great to see. I mean, like he's a much more there are going to be a lot more asses in the seats for Pereira fights than Ankalaev fights any day of the week.
And I'm interested to see in what they do with Pereira next, because Pereira wants to go to heavyweight, but Dana didn't seem too happy about that. I mean, what's next for Alex Pereira? Is he gonna rematch Yuri? Is it gonna be Olberg versus Pereira? Is he gonna go up to heavyweight? I mean, there's a ton of options, but I'm excited for any time this guy steps in the cage, especially if he's fighting like that now. If Pereira is fighting in there with some aggression like that, I'm excited for his next fight.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And you know what? They'll find something for him. I know John Jones wanted to fight him.
Not anymore, probably after that performance.
Oh, dude, John Jones would just wrestle this guy. You know that,
Yeah,
dude.
that's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
Jones would wrestle him, so that would be a very interesting. I'd love to see that fight, because Jones isn't going to fight Tom Aspinall. We've just got to, we've just got to be like, all right, like Habib versus Tony never happened. We've got to come to the conclusion that Aspinall versus Jones is never going to happen, and that maybe we could still get Jones in the cage one or two more times before he's done. And I think an Alex Pereira fight is something that would get him out of bed.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
that'd be an awesome fight. I'm interested to see what they do for that White House card next year. Me and my brother and friends are planning on going to it, so hopefully they put something crazy together, like a Pereira Jones, a Pereira Aspinall. Like, oh, I'm excited. But all right, I say we get into the chat. Wait, first. Let's get to the Stat Diggers parlay of the week. So the Stat Diggers parlay of the week was, I completely forget what it was, but it had to have hit.
Oh, I don't even remember.
I
feel like it would have been Pfeiffer, Soriano. Was it Pfeiffer and Soriano?
I think it might have been Pfeiffer Soriano.
And it might have even been Yuri, because I was feeling like Yuri was going to win.
Yeah, I think you might have went Yuri, and I think I might have went Soriano, something like that.
Something like that. I don't remember what it was. God, we got to be. I could have done like 2 minutes of research and had that for us before.
Yeah, I usually do, but I didn't have time tonight.
Yeah.
But either way, I'm not like 99% sure it hit, because I know we didn't go with Patchy. And then who else? We didn't go with Vanderford.
No.
So yeah, I'm pretty positive it hit.
Oh,
all right,
and let's says it was Soriano Pfeiffer last week.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so the on-site piping of the week was the Taba Goody to pipe poor Osman Diaz, and I guess he did. I mean, he didn't show up. I mean, that right? He kind of pulled out of the fight. I count it as a win, right?
Different opponent, same result. Boy, Tristan Vines was looking very, very live out there. Great footwork for about a good minute and a half.
That was good footwork, dude. It's hard to do that. It's hard to skirt around the cage like that.
He was jogging. He was out there fucking jogging. It was pretty funny. And I remember we were talking about it, and I was like, dude, that'd have been me too. I would have been on my bike running. Anytime Taylor got near him, his eyes got all big, and he was like, "Oh shit,"
I would have been climbing out of the cage and leaving the arena.
I know.
I would not want to be in the same zip code as the Taba Godier.
He'd have been like tugging on my leg, and I'd have been like hugging the fucking cage. It would have been horrible. Who wants to be in a cage with that, man? That's just crazy. I can't believe that fight got sanctioned.
I mean, like, it's the best case scenario. I mean, Tristan Vines, he didn't die. He didn't even get close to dying.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
I feel like he almost faked getting knocked out. Like, it was a very weird reaction.
Dude, I don't know if you ever saw like the Matrix movies when the Anderson guy would get shot, and then there'd be like a hole in his head, and then it would close up. The same thing with the Terminator. Like I kind of expected Vines to actually have a hole through his head by the time that was over, but he made it out alive, man. He probably even looks the same. So good for him.
Yeah, we'll see him back in there.
Yeah.
All right. So the piping of the week hits. Diaz did not show up, pulled out. Take it as a win. The parlay hits, Pfeiffer, Soriano. The milking doesn't hit. And the thing about the milking last week was, I thought there were 3 options. Maisie Chazon, Patrick Mix, and Merab Dvalishvili. We should have went with Merab. I mean, what were we thinking? What were we thinking there? I don't know.
Yeah, we should have, dude. It's just that every time it's a new opponent, you think like, well, maybe this guy.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, Merab is just Merab. The guy is incredible. We didn't even mention that fight, like that guy. Yeah. It's like we didn't even talk about it because Merab did what he always does. And it's got to the point where it's not even surprising anymore that this guy just goes out there and runs through top 3 fighters in the division like they're absolutely nothing, except for I think Umar is the only guy that has a chance to fight this guy close, and he better win 1, 2, and 3 because what Merab did to him in 4 and 5 wasn't pretty last time.
No, it wasn't. But yeah, so the milk of the week is the very, very handsome Macy Chiasson to milk Yana Santos this Saturday. We've been seeing a lot of cheaters lately, and a lot of cheaters winning and having success. And Macy cheated. She came in a couple pounds overweight, and she still lost the fight. I mean, geez. I mean, what are the odds? I mean, a cheater losing a fight, but yeah, she lost, and Yana Santos got it done. So the milking of the week does not come through. So we're going to look to bounce back, and there's plenty of options this week for sure for a milking. So we'll get back on track with the milk. But the piping was good, the parlay was good, but we need to go 3 for 3 for UFC Rio. All right, let's get to some comments, and then we'll see who needs to get help at the end of these comments here. Thoughts and prayers for Roundtree bettors. I mean, I bet a lot of the Roundtree bettors were feeling pretty dang good. But also, you got to remember, like, that happens in a lot of Yuri fights. He kind of takes a little bit to get going, and then that flip just switches, and he says, F it, and then just comes forward, and that's exactly what happened. That's crazy that Roundtree was that big of a favorite between 2 and 3. I wasn't even looking at
it. I would, because like I would have seen that and been like, oh, this is an auto bet. Because like I even said to people in my Discord between rounds 1 and 2, because Khalil hit Yuri clean, like 4 or 5 times in round 1, and Yuri kept smiling at him and like putting his chin forward. And I was like, dude, that's gonna mentally break Khalil. It's gonna literally mentally break him that he's landing clean on this dude and he's not going anywhere. It's absolutely crazy. And then I remember Joe Rogan being like, the speed is too much for Yuri. It's like, dude, everybody's faster than Yuri. I'm faster than Yuri. He's gonna kill you. Eventually, he's gonna start walking forward. He's gonna put you on your back foot. He's gonna keep eating your shots, and then eventually he's gonna crack you once. You're not gonna know where you are, and then he's gonna put you away. It's the same script every fucking time. Every goddamn time, and he was still 900 between rounds 2 and 3. That's so wild.
That's great. I wasn't even checking because I was sweating my fight ends by knockout and Neri 2-3. So I cared a lot about that. But plus 900, it's crazy. I would have definitely hopped in on that. We got Split Decision with the $2 dono. Appreciate you, Split Decision. He says, thank you guys for always being here. Hashtag Wheezy Stories. Thank you for being here as well. Split Decision. And thank you for the $2 dono. Elijah wants saying, I literally clicked on the vid and was like, I better see every option on the whole. Who needs help? Be Patchy Mix, and it is. Thank you, Brady. I mean, there's not really many options last week. I guess you could say Ankalaev potential. I could put Ankalaev on there. I guess I could have potentially put Roundtree on there. Josh Emmett probably deserves to be on there. Abus Magomedov potentially. Tristan. There's some guys I could have put on there, but we all knew it was going to be unanimous about who needs to get help. We got Forrest in the building. Pipe that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Let's go for that. Yes, let's go. Personally, I will never pick Patchy Mix to win a UFC fight again. That dude is a straight up parlay killer. Yikes. I mean, what are they going to do with Patchy now? I mean, I personally think they should cut him, but I think they're going to try to give him a layup, and maybe he'll even lose that. I don't know. It's really weird. It's Patrick, guys. It's Patrick. It's definitely Patrick after last night's performance. We got Otterbomb with the $10 dono. Appreciate you, Otterbomb. He says, y'all are the best. Rio time. Yes, sir. Looking forward to some Rio, and looking forward to talking some fights tonight. Appreciate you, Otterbomb, for the dono. We got Cole Stein. Best Sunday show out there. Appreciate that. It's definitely better than the Patriots-Bills game right now. I mean, I had to actually turn the game off. It was so bad. Yuri round 3 came through. Mental illness is a great base for MMA, and Yuri has a lot of mental illness, and he uses it to his advantage. Who's more washed, Patchy or Suarez? I think a little bit of both. Definitely a little bit of both. They both looked really, really washed. Big thanks to Wheezy. Talked me out of a bet on Mix. Yeah, I mean, I really thought he should have beat Vic Lodge. A lot of people got screwed. I didn't really see anybody on Vic Lodge now that I think about it. But that was the thing. I kind of felt like, I can't be on Mix, but at the same time, I was like, I can't be on Wiglash. And then he looked unusually bronzed. Did you see that, dude?
Like I had somebody in my Discord asking, what race is this guy? Because he came out so tan and bronze looking that
Wow.
I don't like, it was so weird. And I mean, like the only tape I could find of this guy was him fighting the same Polish dude 4 times. And it was like, dude, I remember saying, I was like, dude, I am not touching this fight. I think Mick should win. He probably should get a submission, but I told everybody, I was just like, I have no idea how this fight is going to play out. And it played out exactly how I thought it would play out, in a way that I didn't see coming.
Yeah, I didn't see that coming at all, but it's crazy. Yeah, 10-15, never late. Yes, sir. Macy Chazon gets some help. I mean, she apparently left Fortis and went with some new gem. Maybe Fortis would have had a better game plan for. I mean, the game plan was quite simple: just take down Santos, and get her on her back, and win the fight. But only 2 or 3 takedowns attempted. It's just unacceptable. The card delivered, absolutely. The card absolutely delivered. Shama, yes, sir. Me too. I had Pfeiffer KO round 2 instead of Pfeiffer round 2. Yeah, that's the worst when that happens, man. Brady, wait till you do some tape on this week's Contender Series. If you thought fighting in a shopping mall was bad, it gets worse. Well, yeah, I was telling Weezy before the show. It's like, this is the stuff I'm dealing with. I was taping this one dude, and he's literally fighting in a small padded room, and then there's some little person. We got to be politically correct, or we'll get demonetized. Some little person, and she's wearing just the smallest bikini you'd ever see. It's disgusting. She's like probably 3 foot tall, and she's walking around with the round signs, and they're in a padded room. And this guy, his name's Rafael Pergentino. He's just fighting the biggest bums you'd ever see in your entire life. I mean, it's bad. It's very bad. He's going to be a massive dog. I mean, I'm not sure what Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby are thinking. Like, did they really watch this guy fight in a padded room with a little person walking around and say that they need this guy in the Contender Series? I don't get it, but yeah, that was rough.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, Brady, we've got to hang out with those dudes. I would love to hang out with Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby, because those guys are clearly partying their fucking asses off, because with some of the fighters that they're getting off the regional scene, it's like they're fucking trolling us. And I could just see them like tripping acid in Vegas at some nightclub at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they were like, somebody sent me this fucking tape, and they're gonna be laughing their asses off, like, we're bringing this fucking guy in. I've never seen a little person as a ring girl before. We're doing it. I mean, it's wild. Some of these people that they're getting, and they're always from Brazil.
Always from Brazil, yeah. It's a Brazilian thing.
Always from Brazil. Some of that tape I saw in Contender Series last week of this guy like fighting out in the street in the Congo somewhere, like he was in a field somewhere. Yeah. There was like another one where like the fans were intermixed with the fighters, like there was no stated ring or anything, and they're like going outside the ring, and oh my god, just bonkers.
It's crazy. It's just wild. But I wonder if during the broadcast for Contender Series they're going to show the clip with the little person walking around. We'll see.
Maybe.
How buns is Poon? I mean, that was an awful performance, but Veretinikov just looked even more off. I mean, what is Veretinikov doing? All he really had to do was stuff the takedowns, but instead he jumped to guillotine like 6 times. Like what? Veretinikov is the worst fight I've ever seen in my entire life. That was bad, but Puna got it done. But I'm kind of worried about Puna going forward, because that was rough. I said on my channel, Punches and Profits, that Pfeiffer by sub was getting slept on. Everyone on YouTube was saying Pfeiffer by KO. And yeah, I mean, the sub, was definitely live, but I definitely thought it was more so KO. Yeah. Feed mixed to Wellmaker. Yeah, I would like that. Did you see Patchy's eye? Yeah, he had a little bit of damage on the eye after the first round. Mateba first and second minute was good numbers. Yeah, the under 0.5 rounds was plus 180.
And that hit, didn't it?
It hit. It almost didn't because he was skirting around too much, but
yeah,
it definitely hit. Macy Patchy gets some help. I had $50, 11 leg parlay to win 17,000 G's. All I needed on the last leg was the main event to go over 2.5 rounds. I was pissed. I would be too. Pereira, and you knew it wasn't hitting in the first 30 seconds. I mean, I don't know what Pereira just threw caution to the wind, but it worked. Absolutely worked.
Whenever he pressures people, he gets them out of there, dude. Sometimes I feel like he waits too long. People were like, I remember rewatching the Khalil Pereira fight, and I was like, everyone was talking about how Khalil looked so great in rounds 1 and 2. Pereira didn't do anything in rounds 1 and 2. He finally started walking forward in round 3, and he had him out of there in round 4.
No thoughts on last card's video? We just talked about it, did we not?
Last card video?
I don't know. How ass is Puna Haley Soriano? Pretty ass. We got Dudes MMA reposted the stream. Appreciate you, Dudes MMA. If you guys are watching on X, don't be afraid to hit the retweet button. We got Nathan checking in from X. What's the next for Zalal, Gene Silva, Aljo? I don't know. All I know is this guy's made so many improvements. I remember losing a bet against Sean Woodson. I bet on Zalal against Sean Woodson. I remember when Zalal lost to Sungwoo Choi.
Yeah.
Sungwoo Choi. And now he's beating, Josh Emmett. Now he's beating Calvin Kattar. So, I think the sky's the limit for Yusuf Zalal. He's been great. I like the hype on Gautier, but I am ready to see how he does against someone who hits back. Well, he kind of talked about it after his fight that he wants to kind of build himself up slowly, which I think is very smart. Yeah. So I don't think we'll probably see that in a while, maybe a couple years, which is smart. I mean, build yourself up, get some experience, and then fight some tougher guys. Milk will be squeezed this Saturday in Brazil. I agree. We got Bub Collins with the 199 saying, Unc Weezy, last week's story, great as always. Yes, it was. It's a great story.
Yeah, those college stories are so much fun.
They're amazing. Marcus Williams in the building. UFC 320 main card was one of the best I attended at the T-Mobile Arena. Yeah, I loved it. The Yuri fight was amazing. The main event was amazing. It was a great card. Absolutely great card. Who does Patchy fight now? He loses again. He's cut. I don't know. I don't even know who to give him to. But to be honest, I just don't want to see him in there ever again. Patchy is supposed to be an elite grappler, and he was stymied by a weak-ass guillotine takedown defense. Piss poor performance. Cut the guy. I'd cut him personally. Brady, I was struggling to fall asleep, and I put on your prediction video, and your angelic singing voice put me to sleep, so thank you. Yeah, I sang a tune on my prediction. I sang Heart Will Go On by Celine Dion, and people seem to like it.
Yeah, you're a huge Celine Dion fan. You're always talking about how you just think she's absolutely fantastic, second to only Barbra Streisand.
Agreed. Yeah. I don't think she has a penis. But
no, she doesn't. No.
We're going to watch the Dana White's Contender Series fight. I believe it's on YouTube. Just look up Rafael Pergentino, and you'll see a little person. I need to be in that padded room with that little person after betting Patchy last night. Okay. Vic Lodge is just an alcohol-free Brian Battle. What? I don't know about that. Say hello to my little friend. Okay. Puna was turning purple off that guillotine. He was having trouble with it like Patchy. Yeah, he did turn a little bit purple.
Yeah, he was in a couple of deep guillotines there. But it's the worst. I mean, it's like if you're trying not to get taken down, please don't go for a guillotine. Go for the underhook. That's what you do. You get the underhook. As soon as you start punching, as soon as you start going for the guillotine, the takedown is completed. So, these guys have, it's like, who the hell is Nikolai Veretennikov going to guillotine at the UFC level? I mean, absolutely nobody, right? Not even Puna.
Never, nobody, ever.
So like, why is, get the fucking underhook and put his back to the cage and get back into the center. These guys don't. It was at least Puna got the win. He needed to get that win and he got it.
Yep, 3 wins in a row at welterweight. Brady, how about that Brogan Walker takedown we talked about on the live stream pre-show? Yeah, Dixon was very high on Brogan Walker to get a takedown. She got one. I barely remember that fight. I was barely paying attention, but I do remember her getting at least one takedown. So congrats, Dixon. I think the guy's talking. Yeah.
You know what? Minus 850 for Veronica Hardy, and if Brogan Walker had wrestled, she might have won that fight. Every time she shot for a takedown, she got one.
Yeah, let's just fight it. I mean, I mean, they don't have fight IQ. Macy Chiasson, no fight IQ. We'll talk about Arena Alexeva. I mean, she's a striker now. No fight IQ. It's just I don't know what's going on with some of these fighters. And talk about the fight recap. Yeah, I'm gonna start bringing those back after Contender Series. Once Contender Series is over, I'm gonna be going back doing more content. It's just the Contender Series takes just a ton out. I mean, there's just so much work that goes into it. Oh, he looks like Brian Battle.
He does. That's why I was saying, yeah, he does. It was just weird. Like he was unusually bronze. Like he had went to the tanning bed or something. It was weird.
But all right. I say we got to see who needs to get help. Here we go. I'm going to end the poll. We have 125 votes. And in fourth place, believe it or not, with only 6%.
Okay.
Patty Mix.
Okay. Patty doesn't need help. All right.
Okay. In third place, believe it or not, Pat Mix, 21%. In second place, with 30%, Patrick Mix.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe it as well. First place with 43%, Patchy Mix. Patchy Mix needs to get some help, but Patrick Mix, Pat Mix, and Patty are all right. I voted for Patrick Mix personally, but
I did too, actually, because that's why I keep him as Patrick on my spreadsheet, because until he wins a UFC fight, he doesn't get to go by Patchy.
We might be waiting a long time to change that. That might never get changed because it's really hard to see him potentially winning a fight depending on the matchmaking. So, yeah, Patchy Mix, get some help. That was horrible. I had a good night last night, so I didn't write a rap about him. I'm not gonna get possessed and do whatever. I'm not gonna go crazy. And I only lost a unit. No, I lost actually 2 units on him. But since I had a good night, I'm gonna let it slide. So no songs, no raps, but he definitely needs to get some help. All right, 13 fights to talk about. UFC Rio. We're gonna kick it off in the first fight of the night. We got Simon Oliveira going against Luan Lacerda. We got Oliveira, 34 years old, 5'4", with a 72-inch reach. Lacerda, 32 years old, 5'7", with a 71-inch reach. We have Lacerda 2 years younger, 3-inch height advantage, and a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Simon Oliveira, he won a split decision on the Contender Series, very close fight against Jose Alde. He lost to Tony Gravely by decision. He lost to Daniel Marcos by knockout, and he lost to David Martinez by knockout his last time out. As far as Luan Lacerda, he was 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He made his debut against Cody Stamann, lost that fight by decision, and then he lost to Damon Blackshear by KO. So we have Luan Lacerda, Weezy, who is 0-2 in the UFC, but he is one of the biggest favorites on the card. He is currently sitting as actually, he's not that big of a favorite. Minus 240. I thought he was a lot bigger of a favorite. So maybe money's came in on Oliveira. So minus 240 favorite. And I am actually shocked that Oliveira is getting another shot here. Like, I don't know what they're doing. I thought he arguably lost the Alde fight. And then this dude, like, almost died between the Marcos fight and the Martinez fight. There was a massive layoff between those fights. This guy had like something serious happen to him. He almost died. And then he came back and that was like during fight week. I was hearing about how this guy like died, and I was already on the Martinez knockout prop. And once I heard that, I started to add more onto it because I mean this guy just really shouldn't have been in there, and it looked like it. So I'm not sure what Simon Oliveira really has left. And as far as Lacerda, he hasn't really shown anything. Against Stamann, it was a very disappointing performance. You know, Lacerda is supposed to be this really good grappler. Tons of submissions on his record. He wasn't really able to get that going. And then against Damon Blackshear, he got TKO. So, I mean, Lacerda has shown absolutely nothing, but at least he didn't almost die. So I think this is probably a spot where Lacerda can show his or showcase his skills a little bit here. But minus 240. It's definitely steep, but I absolutely see why. I just don't think Oliveira should be fighting in the UFC or maybe even fighting in general at this stage of his career.
Yeah, this is a massive stay away fight. Like, first of all, Simon Oliveira, there's probably really good evidence to suggest that he probably shouldn't even be medically cleared to fight at this point. You know, at this level, you know, he's probably better off fighting in padded rooms with little people, taking the ring signs in there, because he's 34 years old and he just hasn't shown anything at this level yet. And then you have between the Marcos and Martinez fight, what, a 2-year layoff, maybe something to that effect, and that long of a layoff because he literally almost died. And then you want to lay minus 250 on Luan Lacerda, who is on a 28-month layoff. Right?
Oh,
So this guy hasn't fought in 2 years and 4 months. You do not lay minus 250 on a leg lock merchant, who's out. Dude, he got his face pounded. You remember that Blackshear fight?
oh yeah.
He went for 7 different leg locks, didn't come close on any of them, and just ate ground and pound like it was going out of style until the ref stepped in. He got the shit beaten out of him. Looked absolutely awful. This guy is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu merchant. I mean, like, Simon Oliveira might actually be able to beat this guy, because he might put him in a guillotine and actually finish it. This is as low level as it gets. You don't fight on guys on 28-month layoffs that have no striking and that are leg lock merchants. And you don't bet on fighters that are 34 years old, bantamweight, on 2-year layoffs between their most recent fight and the fight before that. So both of these guys have come off of really long layoffs recently, and neither one of these guys is UFC level. But at least Lacerda fought close with Cody Stamann for 3 rounds. That's better than we can say anything that Simon Oliveira has accomplished at this level. I mean, Simon Oliveira is a guillotine merchant. Luan Lacerda is a leg lock merchant. Neither one of these guys is latching on to anything at this level. So, I mean, like, this is, from a gambling perspective, this is a fight that you should not be putting your money on at all.
No, it's bad. I was actually impressed with Lacerda though prior to the Stamann fight. Like, he looked pretty good. It's just, the Stamann fight I didn't think was a great look, and the Blackshear fight wasn't a great look. So I think he is a lot more skilled than he's shown. And like I said, I think he can probably show that here, especially if Simon Oliveira's either maybe rolled out in a wheelchair with a hospital gown. I mean, this guy shouldn't be fighting. I forget exactly what happened to him, but he was talking about how, like, he literally was very close to dying.
Really?
Yeah, I forget what it was. I'll have to go back and listen to my prediction video that week, but something like serious happened to this guy that he was like never going to fight again type thing. But
I think it was like
and they got knocked out.
Yeah,
maybe
Martinez
something like that.
Yeah. It's a bad fight. This is a bad fight from a gambling perspective to be involved in.
Yep. We have Lacerda. He opened up minus 200, went down to minus 250, currently minus 240. We got Oliveira currently sitting at plus 205. This is interesting. Wow. The over-under set at 1.5 for some reason. The over 1.5 is minus 160. The under 1.5 is plus 140. I was thinking maybe violence, but maybe a 2.5. 1.5, no thank you. Because for this fight to finish, either guy has to be good enough to finish the fight. And, Oliveira, he doesn't have the best durability, but Lacerda's not really knocking out anybody. So kind of confused at why it's set at 1.5. I get Oliveira is very fragile and can be finished, but I'm not sure Lacerda's going to knock him out or even sub him. So I don't know. Yeah,
this one is just gambling AIDS.
Yeah, it's definitely AIDS. Hopefully Oliveira didn't have AIDS. I mean, maybe he did. Something like that. It was something crazy.
Can you imagine getting cleared to fight with AIDS?
No. No.
Yeah, it would be so bad, I mean,
bad,
your wife is a medical professional. She would probably be like, no, that is not acceptable.
No,
it's definitely not. That would be a big risk. So yeah, they better hope he doesn't have AIDS. Just figurative AIDS. It's yeah.
But if we bet on this fight, we might get AIDS.
Yeah, that's for sure, dude.
I mean, because there's some fights where I did almost get AIDS. I mean, I bet on Melissa Mullins against what's her face,
Daria Zelezniakova, right?
I almost got AIDS that week. Absolutely.
Man,
this is the bum fight. Yeah, it's bad, man. This is one of the lowest level fights the UFC can showcase.
Yep.
I would tend to agree. This fight feels like showering with clothes on. It is Apache Mix in a McDonald's outfit, and Bufo on the beat sent me that it's Patchy Mix. Apparently he picked up a job at Mickey D's.
Oh no!
And nothing's wrong with working at Mickey D's. I mean, I've had two ex-girlfriends that actually worked at Mickey D's. That's where all the hoes work. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, you got to get a job somewhere, right?
Yeah. So all the hoes are working at Mickey D's. So yeah, Patchy Mix apparently is picking up a job at Mickey D's. Sick of you guys talking crap about Padded Dwarf FC. It's at least as good as Bell. It's better than Mall FC, I think. I don't know. Yeah, it's better than Mall FC. Stoppable force versus movable object.
Yes.
Agreed. Chase Sherman, future power slap champ. Agreed. Oh god. We got Patchy Mix, former Bellator champion in the building. Patrick Mix saying, sorry, the ice cream machine is down. Appreciate you, Patchy, for stopping in. Why not play the under? Because it's set at 1.5. I don't want to play an under 1.5 in a bantamweight fight with two bums.
I can only count on these guys getting finished, not finishing their opponents.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's so bad. So bad. Check Super Chat. I did. I think I got all the Super Chats. Did I know?
Oh, no, he did give us $5.
Oh, sorry, Justin. I see it now. I went to the start. There we go. We got Justin Cash with the $5 dono. Sorry about that, Justin. He says Khalil lost because of them hot dogs on the back of his neck. What?
Like, you get those rolls on the back of your neck sometimes, and I guess people were talking about it like what looked like Khalil had hot dogs sticking out of the back of his neck, right back there.
What?
Yeah, maybe it was a shitty haircut. I don't know, man.
I'm gonna look up Khalil Roundtree hot dog. Oh God, no! Don't look that up. Don't look that up.
What was it?
It's a picture of his cock.
Oh my God.
I'm just kidding. Could you imagine Khalil Roundtree hot dog? Picture of his cock. All right. Let's get back to business here.
Back to business.
All right. Put the fries in the bag, McPatchy. Best bantamweight in the world right here in Stat Diggers. Yes, sir. You gotta love it.
Yeah.
Best bantamweight. Heck yeah. All right. Bet he has a nice one, just saying. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We have Julia Pilastri going against Karolina Kovacevic. We got Pilastri, 27 years old, 5'2" with a 63-inch reach. Kovacevic, she is 39 years old, 5'3" with a 64-inch reach. Pilastri is going to be I can't do math, 12 years younger. She's going to be at a 1-inch height disadvantage and a 1-inch reach disadvantage. Pilastri 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Made her debut against Josephine Knudsen. Lost that fight by decision. Beat Corey McKenna by decision, then lost the decision to Lupe Godinez. As far as Karolina Kovacevic, 3-2 in her last 5 fights. Decision win against Silvana Gomez-Juarez. Decision win against Vanessa Demopoulos. Decision win against Iana Belbita. Decision loss to Yasmin Lucindo. And a decision loss to Denise Gomes. So I gotta get this. Did I really have that comment on the screen the whole time?
Yeah, you did.
I swear I tried to take it off. Oh, God. Anyway, so I was kind of counting out Karolina a while back. She was on a really big skid, Karolina Kovacevic, and I thought she was like on her way to retiring. She lost like literally 5 fights in a row. Yeah. She lost against Andrade, Waterson Gomez, Grasso, Yan Jianan, and Jessica Penny, which most of those are really good fighters. But I kind of thought she was, on her way out. She was getting up there in age. And then she won a 4-fight winning streak, beating Felice Herrig, Silvana Gomez-Juarez, Vanessa Demopoulos, and Diana Belbita. But now she's lost back-to-back fights against Gomes and Lucindo. So this is a fight. I think I'd be less inclined to bet this fight, actually, than the first fight of the night, just because, holy crap. I mean, Julia Pilastri is a minus 450 favorite. And it's like, you can't lay minus 450 on Julia Pilastri, but at the same time, I don't really want to bet Carolina. I mean, this is either a pass or it's going in the what could go wrong parlay. I say we put Pilastri in there. I say we put Levon Lacerda in there. And
we had Veronica Hardy from last week at minus 850 in there as well.
Yeah, what could go wrong? What could go wrong with Julia Pilastri in a female fight that's minus 425 to go to the crooked, corrupt judges? What could go wrong at minus 450?
I mean, I guess a little bit could go wrong. Carolina's a veteran, 18 UFC fights. She's won 9 of them. She's a streaky fighter, She came into the UFC. She won 3 in a row. Then she loses 2 in a row to Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Claudia Gadelha, 2 of the toughest strawweights at the time. Then she goes out there and she beats Jodie Esquibel and Felice Herrig. Then she has a 5-fight losing streak where she loses to Andrade, Michelle Waterson, Alexa Grasso, Yan Xiaonan, and Jessica Penne. And at that point, she's already 35, 36 years old almost. And a lot of people think she's done. But, in this division, you can get some easy fights. Some names, I'll just throw them out there. How about Felice Herrig for the second time? How about Silvana Gomez Juarez? How about Vanessa Demopoulos? How about Diana Belbita? Right? So she goes on a 4-fight win streak, and it looks like, Carolina's coming in with that Jacob Wickloss-like tan, like looking bronze, looking ready with that South Florida sun, and then now she's 40 years old in a week, Brady, 40 years old in a week. So, she's past it at this point. And Pilastri is just kind of like a younger version of Carolina. Good Muay Thai striker, aggressive, hits fairly hard, pretty durable, really down to scrap. And I just kind of feel like Pilastri, being 12 years younger at this point, obviously she's a little bit more she's a little bit more likely to wrestle offensively. We just haven't seen Carolina ever really go out there and look to get takedowns, while we've seen Pilastri go out there and be able to do that sometimes. So I think Julia keeps this fight pretty close. She probably wins it, but it's going to be close, man. Carolina can fight with anybody, I mean, even her last 2 fights are tougher opponents. Lucindo and Gomez are both tougher opponents, I believe, than Julia Pilastri at this point. So, I mean, I think it'll probably be kind of close. Carolina's not going to lay down for anyone. She's always been difficult to finish. She's always been somebody that's willing to stand in the pocket and trade bombs. So it should be a pretty fun fight, But, yeah, I'm not laying minus 450 on Pilastri, but I'm also not running to the window to play 350 on Kovacevic, who's almost 40 years old at this point, not a 2-fight losing streak.
Yeah, it's just a big giant pass. I mean, minus 450 is just, it's kind of wild, but at the same time, I think she wins and wins by decision. So, yeah, I'm staying away. And if this fight was lined based off of their feet, I mean, this line would be flipped, and I think we'd have Carolina as like a minus 1,000 favorite. I mean, Carolina has a 4.92 feet rating on WikiFeet, and she has, holy crap, 850 photos on WikiFeet.
And Brady, I just have to interject real quick here. Let's remember that we talked about Macy Chiason's WikiFeet score last week. One of the worst that we've ever seen, at about a 3.4, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
and her opponent, Yana Santos, one of the higher WikiFeet scores that we had ever seen. And how did that fight take place? Who won that fight? Big underdog cashes because of a positive WikiFeet score differential. This is something I'm going to have to start adding to the spreadsheets for this show.
I mean, these have to be some of the best feet I've seen in a very long time. I mean, these are very impressive. And I'm over at Julia Pilastri's right now. So Carolina had a 4.92.
Yeah.
Pilastri has a 4.54. Okay. But I'm looking at these feet on WikiFeet, and they're some of the dirtiest feet I've ever seen. Like they're all dark, and it looks like there's dirt on them. There's a mysterious, really like a black spot on the bottom of her foot. Just very dirty feet. I don't know if they're cleaning the mats over there. Just some of the dirtiest feet you'd ever see Pilastri. Which, I mean, nothing's wrong with dirty feet, but I mean, they're really, really dirty. Really, really dirty feet. So I'm surprised she even got a 4.60 or 4.54. I'm surprised it's that high with how dirty some of these picks are. It's wild. But yeah, Carolina's feet are definitely not dirty. But yeah, give me Palastri by decision probably. Carolina still fights. Yes, she does. Carolina Kovacevic is a massive dog. No idea why. Yeah, it's definitely
It's
just
the
a really
age.
wide line. Yeah.
Yeah.
Polish power. She doesn't really have much of that, unfortunately. Carolina Kovacevic is busy selling feet picks. I believe it. I believe she is, and I believe she's probably having success. Jody Escobar is built like a Vienna sausage. Yeah, we got to get Jody Escobar back in there. Looking like a fully cooked kilo Roundtree neck sausage. Yeah. Carolina can lay down for me. Heck yeah. What the F is WikiFeet? Well, they're the future sponsor of the show.
Yes.
With how much we shout them out? Absolutely. I love Carolina, but if you lose this fight, please consider retirement. Think about longevity. I thought she was going to retire a long time ago, but she's still going. I got some tongue emojis. Feet Palastri. That's a sick comment there. Sick comment. She was walking around the hood barefoot. That's what it looks like. That's what it looked like. This week's show is brought to you by WikiFeet. We gotta get that sponsor. The more dirt, the better. Okay. Every show is sponsored by WikiFeet. Like I said, we gotta hit them up. We up.
Do.
All right. And Dixon saying, "Don't forget to hit the like." I agree. And we gotta get. What happened?
That picture of Patchy.
You know it's a real
bad. You know, he's a good fighter. He's a former champion. He has a little bit of a down stretch. They got him in a fucking McDonald's uniform. It's like, my God.
Yeah,
it's a rough business, man. It's a rough business. You go on a little losing streak, and everybody turns on you, man.
Yeah, it is definitely. But you gotta perform better. You definitely got to perform better. We got Patchy mixing update on Little Persons. I don't know her name. Maybe she's famous. I don't know. She was in a couple of the fights I watched, but I don't know. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be none other than Walter Walker, Muhammad Usman. And quite frankly, we can save some time, Weezy. Like, we don't need to break this one down. I mean, there's literally one outcome to this fight, and it's one outcome only, and it's Walter Walker heel hook, and there's no other way around it. I mean, that's what it is. It's nobody can debate it. It's Walter Walker, not by sub, by heel hook, and it's going to be. Imagine how the sub price this week. It's going to be so bad. It's going to be horrible. So Walter Walker's minus 300. I kid you not. The sub prop's going to be a minus number this week. It's going to be a minus number, and probably for a good reason, because it's probably going to hit. This guy makes no sense. You know, it's not too often we see heel hooks, let alone 2 in a row, let alone 3 in a row. But I guess that's his thing. So give me Walter Walker by heel hook. Simple.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't even know if Muhammad Usman can outstrike Walter Walker at this point.
Oh.
And Walter Walker's striking is not the high point of his game. But, you know, we always knew that the dude could wrestle. We always knew that he was somebody that could win minutes with the grappling. But he had never shown us coming into the UFC that he was going to really win moments with the grappling, with the submissions. Like, maybe with some heavy ground and pound when he got to a dominant position. But Walter was always more of a minute winner than a moment winner. Now he's winning moments in the grappling exchanges, but the wrestling is still there. And, you know, his cardio, it's pretty good for somebody his size, for somebody that wrestles as much as Walter does. So what did you say the line was on this?
Minus 300.
Yeah, I mean, I think he might go even higher than that. I think he might even finish up at about minus 400, minus 5. I mean, how does Muhammad Usman win this fight?
I mean, Lucas Bresky beat Walker. So
I know. And everybody that was holding on to that has gotten rinsed when he fucking beat Tafa, has gotten rinsed when he beat Mays, has gotten rinsed when he beat Nzechiku. You know, like you remember when Khalil Roundtree lost to Marcin Prokhnio on Fight Island?
I'll never forget.
And then he went on that long ass winning streak after that, and everybody was like, this guy lost to Prochnio, Sometimes you just got to let it go. You have to be like, okay, all right, that was a little bit ago. We're going to let it go. We're going to try to forgive him now. And yeah, I mean, Walter, I think the distance striking exchanges will actually be somewhat close. We're going to see Muhammad Usman's takedown defense tested here. But, Thomas Peterson didn't have a lot of wrestling success against Muhammad. So this one could wind up being really, really sloppy. But, I just see Usman getting leg locked and then acting surprised like he didn't know. You know what I'm saying? Like how did he do that? It's like he's done it 3 times in a row, man. I can't wait to see, like you said, where are they going to price this sub prop, man? It's probably, a heavyweight sub prop being minus anything.
Is he going to do that? Like that? Just I guess for that.
He's going to be looking at his brother like, did you know he would go for a leg lock?
That's hilarious.
Oh God, man. Yeah, so I think Walker should absolutely get the job done. He should be able to out grapple him just about everywhere. Maybe he eats a big shot from it's heavyweight. These can be really sloppy fights sometimes, and Muhammad's okay. He's got a decent amount of experience. He's fought a pretty decent strength to schedule. Both of these guys beat Junior Tafa, so that's a feather in their cap. Got to win over Fat Collier. He's got to win over Hamdi Abdel Wahab.
He's actually a really funny guy, Walter. He's a very funny
guy.
Him
and his brother, dude.
Yeah, he's a character.
Yeah. I wonder where he's training. Is he still training at Gore MMA, or did he? I
don't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
It looks like he has a shoey. No, he's not a shoey. A heel hook glass, and he's drinking a beer out of the heel hook glass.
I love it because those are the old German mugs. They got those. They got those boot mugs.
Jeez. Yeah, he's a character.
These guys are fun. I hope they keep performing well because it's great when fighters are good, but when they have personalities and they can sell fights as well. Like I think both of these guys have the chance to do that. And Walter Walker is one of the most exciting heavyweight prospects we've seen in a minute, dude.
Yeah, it's exciting, 100%. So, yep, I got Walter as well by default, but I won't be betting on this fight because the sub prop is just going to be horrible. It's just going to be probably one of the worst sub prop because everybody's going to be predicting that this week. Everybody's gonna be like Walter Walker heel hook, and how can you not? How can you not predict that? That's what he does, and it's literally something he tries to do. And I think he tries it here and probably gets it. So 4 heel hooks in a row. Why not?
I got a prediction.
What's up?
Okay, so Walter Walker's money line is minus 300.
Yeah.
Here's what's going to happen. Bet Online opens the sub prop at minus 200.
Okay.
It gets driven to minus 275. And then Walter Walker wins by decision.
Ooh.
And pisses off everybody. He didn't get the sub. And it's like, dude, you're the dumbass. You laid minus 275 on a sub prop when the guy was minus 300 to win. So I just got a feeling that some shit like that is going to happen. And like Walter won't get the sub this time, and everybody's going to get rinsed on just an absolutely way overpriced sub prop.
Yeah, I won't be getting rinsed. I remember when I bet a very overpriced sub prop. It was Gunnar Nelson versus Sato. Sato has the worst ground game in the UFC, and Gunnar Nelson's a legit BJJ black belt.
Yeah.
And the sub prop, I kid you not, I got it like minus 150. And
it was minus 140.
Closed like minus 200, and then he goes out there and controls him for 15 minutes. So after that happened, I vowed to never do anything like that ever again. Don't lay a minus number on a sub prop.
Yeah.
But this sub prop's going to be a minus number. I almost guarantee it. If not, maybe I'll take a look. But I don't know. I think they're going to be onto it. Usman's brother is bad, so bad. Maybe maybe Kamaru can go in there and maybe fight for him if that. But probably not. They're not allowed to do that, right? Tag team.
I don't think they're allowed. When the Tafa brothers are allowed to do that.
Yeah, Tafa brothers are allowed to do it, but that's the only time we've seen that. Walter Walker is also the new funniest fighter. He's a funny dude.
Yeah,
He's a very funny dude.
he is.
Dropping for the heel hook from top mount. Heavyweight MMA is hilarious sometimes. Yeah, very hilarious. Walter Walker by sub last time was plus 1,000. My biggest money line bet cash that day. By sub was plus 1,000. That's crazy. Walter said to not bet the heel hook on Show Me the Money pod last week. Okay, so he's not going for the heel hook this week. Might be going for something else. I don't know. The clean monster would be losing his mind over Pilastri's dirty feet. Yeah, he does. He does like him clean. I think Walter will win by greasy decision. I can see that.
Yeah.
Already one of the best stat digger shows in months. Good shit, Brady. We appreciate that, Brandon. Maybe ends in split decision. Maybe, but I will not be touching this fight. And I bet Usman probably, or not. Yeah, I bet Walker probably is a big fan of feet and wiki feet. Goes for him a lot. I bet he's on there.
He could be, dude. I mean, wiki feet. It's not just because our show brings it up. It is a cultural phenomenon right now in 2025. Not just in the United States, it's a worldwide thing. So it's good that we're kind of trying to work this into the lexicon of this show to bring, bring this show up to the times, Brady.
Yeah, and you got to shout out feed of the day. Shout out feed of the day, Victoria Justice, feed of the day.
Shout out Victoria.
Yes. Walter Walker is built like a tall dwarf. Das Boot.
Das Boots.
Imagine growing up in the Walker household. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be a fun time.
Probably would have been wild. Like every kid would have been like 6'2" at like 13 years of age. It must have been wild.
It would have been wild. Walter, Captain Heel Hook Walker. Watch this fight go to Splitty City and destroys everyone's parlays. Remember, kids, Uncle Weezy called it. And no, that's definitely on the table. I mean, it's not. I mean, nobody should be shocked if he didn't get a fourth heel hook in a row. But remember when Alan Belcher couldn't not get submitted by Polaris? WTF?
You remember that fight?
I don't remember that fight.
Alan Belcher versus Husamar Palhares. Now, Palhares had been tearing up everybody's knees. He's a leg lock merchant. And he had a fight against Tomas Durwal, and he had another fight against Mike Pierce, where he got the heel hook, latched onto it, tore the guy's knee up, and then they would tap, and he would keep cranking on it. Like the referee would step in, and he would hold on to it for way longer than he had to, and he was causing these serious injuries. And Alan Belcher is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who went and fought Palhares, and they wound up in these 50-50 positions for most of the fight, dude. They were going banana split. They were going twisters, leg locks, and Husamar couldn't get it on him. And then they cut Husamar because he was hurting so many fighters, and people thought he was such a dirty fighter. They sent him over to ACA, and guess who he fought? Skab Kizraev. Husamar locks onto a leg lock. Kizraev grabs onto the fence with both hands, holds onto it for at least 5 seconds while he uses his free leg to kick off on the face. The referee does not call a point. Kizraev gets on top of him and just pounds his head through the fucking canvas. Everybody hated Husamar Palhares. He was one of the dirtiest fucking fighters to ever do it, Brady. And he was deliberately tearing dudes' knees up so badly that nobody wanted to fight him. So I remember that Belcher Palhares fight. It was a classic because everybody thought that Palhares was going to tear up Belcher's knee, and Belcher was able to go through all those positions with him and stay safe.
I do remember the Kizraev fight. I remember that.
Yeah.
By the way,
two hands on the fence.
Yeah, where is Kizraev, by the way?
He'll be back in about 3.5 years. He will fight somebody and then poke him in the eye about 10 seconds into the fight, and it'll be a no contest. And then we'll see him again in 2031.
It's sad, man. Just absolutely sad. But yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm late. All good. All right. We gotta keep moving on to the next fight. It is going to be Lucas Rocha going against Stuart Nickel. We got Rocha, 25 years old, 5'3" with a 64-inch reach. Stuart Nickel, 30 years old, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. We got Rocha 5 years younger. Nickel with a 2-inch height advantage and a 1-inch reach advantage. Rocha is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. had a knockout on the Contender Series against Davi Bittencourt, lost by submission to Clayton Carpenter in his debut. As far as Stuart Nickel, 4-1 in his last 5 fights, made his debut against Jesus Aguilar and got guillotined. So, yeah, I remember being pretty high on Nickel against Aguilar from a DraftKings perspective, because I thought, I mean, just, wrestle this guy, don't get guillotined. And I was actually really impressed with, what I saw from Nickel with the wrestling, the grappling. Thought he was a very high level grappler, but he got caught. He got caught early on, and it wasn't the best look, but that's kind of what Aguilar does. So I kind of do forgive him. As far as Lucas Rocha, I wasn't really that high on him. I think I actually picked Bittencourt to beat the guy in Contender Series, and he proved me wrong there. But I was very high on Clayton Carpenter. I had a bet on Carpenter inside the distance. I'm just not sold on Lucas Rocha, but he's only 25 years old, so there is still room for a lot of improvement. That's an interesting fight. I think that, and looks like money is coming in on Nickel, and I think rightfully so. I think that he's a lot better than he showed in the. Actually, no, money's coming in on Rocha. Wow, this line is actually flipped. Yeah, this line's flipped. So this line's flipped. Roach is now the favorite. So, yeah, Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, so like I'm wondering what's going on with Stuart Nickel, because this guy's from Perth, and they just fought in Perth 2 weeks ago, and he wasn't on the card. And I mean, he's clearly ready to go because now he's ready to fight and heal. So, it feels like the UFC is kind of like almost done with this kid after one fight, but he's a very talented grappler. He's a good wrestler. He's a good submission grappler. He can win minutes and moments with the wrestling and grappling game. The striking, I mean, I guess we'll find out, but there's just not a lot of tape of this guy doing anything but grappling in his fights. Lucas Rocha, this is one of those guys. He reminds me a little bit of like some of these volume guys. Like he reminds me a little bit of Ochoa. Jose Ochoa, the Peruvian dude. He reminds me a little bit of some of these volume guys. These volume guys who aren't going to get hurt, who are just, they're super hittable. Their defense is shit, but they'll stay in your face and just throw a ridiculous amount of volume, and you're never going to get them out of there. You have to kind of like hold them down and win minutes. Otherwise, it's almost like Yuri Prohaska. Only just with a ton more volume and a lot more forward pressure. That's kind of how Lucas fights. So the fact that this is in Rio de Janeiro and Stuart Nickel's making a 24-hour plus trip to make this, after being left off the Perth card so that they could have not one but 2 Tafa brothers pull out of fights. This kid's got to be pissed off right now. He needs this win. And he's going to have to wrestle Rocha and do what Clayton Carpenter was able to do to him, which is just take him down. The kid doesn't have good takedown defense. He's all offense and no defense. But the problem is that if you take Rocha down, he's going to start playing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu off of his back. And if you're able to stay out of the submission attempts, if you're able to avoid the sweeps, you can get on top of this guy and win a bunch of minutes on top while landing ground and pounded stuff. So I think that this is going to be a wild fight, but I think the fact that this is in Brazil is just absolutely massive. This kid Nickel has never fought outside of Australia before. So and in his UFC debut a year ago, he got guillotined by Jesus Aguilar, a guy that everybody knows goes for guillotines. Oh. So the fact that he got stuck in that, it's bad for a guy who's supposedly a high-level grappler to get caught in the only move of a fighter that, is a guillotine merchant. So it's going to be a really tricky fight. I feel like we've still got kind of a lot to learn about both of these guys, because Rocha fought Bittencourt on Dana White's Contender Series, and Bittencourt's another one of these guys, Brady, that comes off of that weird ass Brazilian regional scene where they're fighting in malls and they're fighting nobodies.
Oh,
so while Nickel's fighting some decent guys in Australia, but you still, the level of competition, it's a very small pool of athletes there that you're going to be matched up against. And a lot of them are Asian fighters that, their regional scene is just kind of okay. It's still developing. So this is one that I feel like it's hard to be to back either fighter right now, because what Stuart Nickel does well is how we saw Lucas Rocha lose minutes in his UFC debut. But we also saw Stuart kind of go out there and get finished when, and I've seen this on his regional scene tape, where if he's not really able to get the grappling going, he doesn't look confident at distance striking range. So if he has to spend a lot of time at distance striking range against Lucas, I think Lucas is going to be putting volume on him, be landing some big shots. So I think both of these guys have got paths to victory here. This could potentially be just a nice under bet, is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think under could be interesting. But I'm kind of interested in Nickel. I mean, especially at plus money. I mean, Rocha, like even in the Bittencourt fight, I mean, Bittencourt took him down 5 times, and then Bittencourt gassed himself out. So even on the regional scene, like this guy Rocha was getting taken down, getting his back taken. He just has no takedown defense. So
he has no defense. You can leave the takedown off. It's just no defense. He's just all offense. And I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're durable and you've got endless conditioning, you might as well fight like that. You're probably going to break most of your opponents. But when you run up against a kid like Carpenter, who's really well-rounded and he can win minutes and moments wherever the fight goes, they're going to find your weakness and they're going to exploit it. And Stewart has the ability to do that.
The under is minus 120. Was hoping to get a plus money number on a flyweight fight.
Yeah, and it's a flyweight fight, so I don't like laying juice on flyweight overs or unders, I should say.
Either flyweight or featherweight. I don't like laying juice on either.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see where the line goes, but in theory, Nickel definitely has a clear path. Just don't get caught in a sub. All right, it's Nickel, and it's Nickel all day. We'll see. I feel old because I don't know these guys. Uncle Weezy, could you tell us a short story? Your stories are phenomenal and could be a sitcom or series. Epicness is an understatement.
I never kind of come into the show thinking, oh, I'm going to tell this story, because sometimes Bub will do like a donation. I'll be like, tell us a story. I'm like, I don't have one ready. And then I'll remember one, like a couple of days later. So I don't really have I'll tell you one real quick one. Okay. So I was telling a story, I don't know, the other day or something like that on one of my live streams. I used to work with all these Brazilian dudes at Lou Malnati's Pizzeria. We delivered pizzas together, and I always used to watch MMA with these guys. When John Jones won the title off of Shogun Rua, it was me and 20 Brazilians in this place, and everybody was betting against me because I thought John Jones was going to win. Every Brazilian was on Shogun Rua. And when Jones won, like, there were several men crying in there. And I was getting some dirty fucking looks from some Brazilian dudes that were like, black belts under Cesar Gracie here in Chicago. He's like the Gracie brother that was first opened the big, Gracie Jiu-Jitsu gym in here in Chicago. And a lot of these Brazilian guys trained over there. But one of the stories that these guys told me was one of the head coaches, like the number 2 or number 3 guy under Cesar Gracie at his gym. They all went out drinking one night, and some guy, or Caesar's head coach, steps on some guy's foot and kind of marks up his shoe at the bar. And the guy who stepped on his shoe, the martial artist, is like, dude, I'm so sorry. Can I buy you a beer? I really didn't mean to do that. And of course, the guy just doesn't know who he is. And it's like, I should fuck you up for stepping on my shoe. And so the guys who are telling my Brazilian friends who are telling me this story, they're just like, we all went, ooh, and we all just kind of stepped back laughing because we knew that this guy would just absolutely murder this poor guy at the bar. I mean, he's a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt, been, in competitions and all this stuff. And so the guy was like, listen, man, I don't want to fight you, I'm really sorry. It was a mistake. These things happen. Like I said, I'll buy you a beer, but please, don't try to get physical with me. And so the guy gets even closer, starts doubling down on it. And everybody around him is smiling, knowing how this is going to turn out. And so what he does is he said he just started fucking with the guy. He goes, he said, please, sir, I've already offered to buy you a beer. I've already, I've already apologized. And he starts going, please, whatever you do, don't kick my ass. You're so strong. You're so tall. And like they're doing it with the Portuguese accent that the guy's speaking. And then he starts grabbing the guy's arm. He goes, look at how strong this guy is. He would kill me. He would absolutely kill me. And then he gets down on his knees and he puts his hands on me. Please don't kick my ass. And the guy eventually, like, he's looking around and he's seeing like, oh, I got to get the fuck out of here. Like he didn't even he realized it just by how submissive the guy was acting. Like, this guy's gonna fucking kill me if I touch him. And he said, you know what, man, it's okay. He totally diffused the situation by pretending he was gonna get his ass kicked. Wow. And it was just a really funny thing because everybody was hoping that the guy would throw a punch because this guy would have gotten absolutely murdered. But something went off in his head and he was like, you know what? No thanks. I don't need this shit. And he got out of there. So always best when you find out, you never know who you're gonna wind up coming up against when you get into some kind of altercation on the street. It's always best to be polite and to be genial and just say, hey man, shit happens sometimes. It's all right, dude.
There you go, Forrest. Awesome story. Heck yeah. It would have been a piping.
Yeah, it would have been a piping. Yeah, Yeah,
absolutely. When I was a kid in Guatemala in school, if someone stepped on your shoes, it was grounds to fight on the spot, especially if the sneakers were white. Yeah, I don't like getting my shoes stepped on either, but
nobody does.
It's not the best feeling in the world. Probably wouldn't fight somebody about it, but I'd be like, oh, dang it.
Yeah, I know. It's like, damn, dude, these are clean,
Yeah. I want to get that mad about it, but some people really care about their shoes, though. So
yeah, they do.
I could see it. All right. Moving on to the next fight, we have Bia. How do you pronounce it? Mosquito going against Irina Alexeyeva. We got Mosquito, 34 years old, 5'4" with a 66-inch reach. Irina Alexeyeva, 35 years old, 5'8" with a 66-inch reach. We got Mosquito 1 year younger. Alexeyeva with a 4-inch height advantage and a 2-inch or same reach there. Mosquito is 5-0 in her last 5 fights. She's going to be making her debut here. As far as Alexeyeva, she is 2-3 in her last 5 fights. Made her debut against Stefan Yeager, won that fight by submission, lost to Melissa Dixon by decision, and then lost to Claudia Segulia by decision. So Irina Alexeyeva almost put me into retirement. She was going against Claudia Segulia, who had probably one of the worst ground games I think I've ever seen in my entire life. And Irina Alexeyeva proceeded to go out there and test her newfound striking for some reason. It was just a jaw-dropping performance from Irina Alexeyeva. Let me ask you this, Weezy.
Okay.
In that fight that went 15 minutes, how many takedowns did Irina Alexeyeva attempt officially?
Well, I could look at the stats, but I mean, I would think at least one, right? At least one?
0.
Oh my God.
0. She wanted to test that striking, that awful striking against a good striker in Segulia. Segulia is a pretty dang good striker. It's just Segulia had like Elise Reed, worse than Elise Reed type grappling, and she didn't even try to take her down. It was the most embarrassing performance. I mean, her nickname's Russian Ronda, which is already embarrassing enough. The haircut, it's already embarrassing enough.
Yeah.
But the game plan, I mean, it literally almost put me into retirement. And that was the same card where Melissa Dixon decided to test her newfound striking.
Yeah.
I mean, that card, it just took years off my life. But now they're punishing her. They're punishing Irina Alexeyeva, and they're giving her to Mosquito. And Mosquito is currently a minus 600 favorite against Irina Alexeyeva. So, yeah, they're clearly bringing Irina Alexeyeva to Rio to build up Mosquito in her debut. That's what's going on here. That's exactly what's happening. Oh, and what else is funny is this is a female fight where the total, we don't see this often. The total set at 1.5 in a
Ooh.
female fight. We literally never see that outside of Liang Na fights. But over under set at 1.5, and the under 1.5 opened up at -200. Wheezy.
Whoa.
Under 1.5 opened up at -200 in a female fight. So yeah, it's crazy. This is kind of a stupid fight, but I mean they're building up Mesquita here in this one.
Yeah, and she's like a multiple time Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion,
Very high
right?
level.
Yeah, I
Very
mean like black belt level, right?
yeah.
Like elite, like one of the top 3 grapplers in her weight class in the entire world, probably. So, and she's fighting at home in Brazil, and I think her last 2 fights, maybe just the last one, has been an LFA, right?
I'll have to double check.
Yeah, I check that out for me because like I'd like to know how many fights were in LFA before the regional scene stuff before that. Because obviously strength of schedule will be a little bit of a concern here when you're talking about a UFC debutante.
Yeah. So actually, her last 4 fights were in LFA.
Okay, yeah. So she came in with only 5 professional fights. So she's been in a good organization, and they've been kind of building her up with that regional scene competition where you can get those easier fights out of the way the first couple times, and then they give you a slight step up each time. I mean, everybody knew that her grappling was already UFC level. Now she's just got to kind of round out the skill set and get a little bit of experience under her belt. And Irina Alekseeva, for somebody who's got 3 UFC fights and over a half an hour of UFC octagon time, only has 8 professional fights, Brady, over a 6.5-year career. So she just hasn't been an active fighter. She comes from a judo base. On the feet, she's a very aggressive striker who really is looking to take your head off. So that's something that could happen. Irina could land a big shot on the feet here if Bia takes a little bit too long to kind of like start grappling here. And Irina's a pretty good grappler in her own right. I mean, she's going to be 4 inches taller here. These ladies are around the same age. It's just Irina has more experience and a strength of schedule advantage and probably a striking advantage too. But Bia's elite on the ground, and we know where this one's going to go because it's not like Alekseeva is going to be stuffing takedowns. She's getting out-controlled 32.6% to 7.9%, winning less than 20% of the control time positions in her fights. So I think Bia should be able to get the grappling game going, and if she does, she's probably going to get her out of there early. But this would be a good place to just try a contrarian over. You never know. But with Irina, she's a bit of an unknown. Even though we've seen more of her at this level, I'm not exactly sure what she's good at.
I mean, I think she's a dumbass. I truly think she's a dumbass. I'm looking through her Instagram. It's like she's such an idiot, man. I mean, I have a feeling she's going to willingly grapple with Mesquita. I have a feeling she's that dumb.
Yeah.
Like she wanted to test her striking against Segovia. I have a strong feeling she's going to want to test her grappling against Mesquita. I truly believe that. I think she's that dumb. I think she's a really dumb human being.
Well, I mean, if you've ever seen her dance, that's all the evidence that you need.
I was trying to find one of her. She posts way too much on Instagram. Like I've been scrolling your whole breakdown. I still can't find that legendary video because she's posting like 10 times a day on Instagram. It's ridiculous. Why are you posting so much?
Yeah, and who's looking?
Not
me. I mean, we're doing it for research purposes, but other than that, I mean, it's like I'm not spending any time on Irina Alekseeva's Instagram. I got better things to do.
Which reminds me, I got to do my annually Irina Alekseeva Fight Week video tomorrow. I hope I still have it. I got a new phone the other day, so I lost like a lot of my old stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you still have that gif of Jessica Andrade dancing?
I'll have to look, but I lost like a lot of... I still have this. It's Jake Hadley and Irina mixed together. At least I still have that, but I lost a lot of cool stuff. Yeah.
I love the "Love Me" tattoo that she has right here.
The love.
Irina.
Oh, does she? Oh God.
It says "Love Me," and it's right here, across the top of her sternum there.
Yikes, not good.
Yeah. And it's good. Like, just because you get that tattoo, it doesn't mean that people have to love you, Irina.
Let me see. There's the legendary video. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Let's see.
Here we go. There we go. There it is.
Yes.
Like, what is she doing? What is she doing? What is that? Like, I couldn't believe. And then she went out there and submitted Edgar, I think, after that video.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Missed weight. I think she missed weight too.
Yeah, she missed weight. She flexed and danced on the scale after missing weight, and then went out there and beat Stephanie Egger, who's like a ADCC champion grappler and like under 22 European judo champion. I mean, just unfucking believable.
I remember having Edgar inside the distance there and just being like, "You got to be kidding me!" The
lesson is like we shouldn't be betting on this fight either.
No, I mean, there's no. I mean, how can you bet on this fight? That the total's at 1.5. It's juiced to the under in a female fight. I mean, this is not Liang Na. We're not betting under 1.5. And even Liang Na went over in 2 of those fights. So it's like, geez, playing a dangerous game.
Yeah. Women's MMA can be crazy, man.
I mean, look at this legendary video as well. The music with it is pretty good. She has a little blade, it looks like, and she's holding up the blade right here. There it is. There it is. Right there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to fuck with her with that blade. I mean, she can do some damage at
she'll
that point.
cut you.
Yeah. She'll definitely cut you.
Oh, God. It's Arena Alexeyeva fight week again. I didn't think we'd get here.
God. I still can't believe she attempted 0 takedowns. Like that almost gave me AIDS that night. But hopefully Mosquito can go out there and teach her a lesson. I mean, teach this bitch a lesson. Yeah,
this is the 4th fight on Arena's contract, and I think they're trying to send her out the door. You know, it's going to be a long flight back home to wherever it is that she lives from Rio de Janeiro. That's for sure.
Women's UFC needs piped. All female fighters must sign with Invicta. Come on, Trump, make it happen. I mean, there's some good female fights, but this one, I don't know. We'll see. I think they're just building up Mosquito.
Yeah,
she has 3 fights in LFA. OMG, Olivas loves Bia Mosquito. Not saying he's picking her, but in general, he always talks her up because of her BJJ. Yeah, she's a very, very high level grappler. So I mean, there's probably a reason that they underset at 1.5. She should be able to go out there and take her down and sub her quite easily. We got Dixon Sider with a serious question. Brady and Weezy, my PTSD is kicking in, thinking this might be Buchecha versus Budai or Montague versus Carolina all over again. This could be another landmine. Proceed with caution. Yeah, agreed. Especially if we're not getting good lines on it. No need to bet on it. I bet on Alexeyeva once and felt like I needed a shower afterwards. Yeah, right there with you. We got Eileen Perez's butthole in the building. What is up, Eileen Perez's butthole? Good to see you. How many beers would it take to smash that? Maybe like 5 or 6. 3 of the beers that Weezy drinks. Weezy drinks, they're like 12% beer. So 3 of those, and I'm in. But regular beers, maybe like 5, 6. And then I'd potentially smash. Just bet the got the over at plus 174. Wow. And a female fight over 1.5 plus 174. Wild.
I don't mind it.
Her Tapology picture looks totally different. It does. Talk about Alexeyeva. It does. She looks like normal there. She looks normal in her Tapology picture.
I gotta see it, actually.
It's on the screen here.
Oh, she got long hair. Yeah, that's right. She does look completely different there.
I almost pulled up WikiFeed on accident. That wouldn't have been great, but it's just feet. We're gonna find out if that thing can produce milk. We're potential milking of the week. I can see it. We got Nix in the building. What is up, Nix? Brady, I missed the start. Much love to you both. Good to see you in here, Nix. Which rhymes with mix. So maybe it's not great to see you. Maybe just kidding. Patchy is truly a pile of shit for that performance. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. Yeah, absolutely. All right, so yeah, Irina Alexeyeva fight week starts now. Moving on to the next fight, we got Vitor Petrino going against Thomas Peterson. We got Petrino, 28 years old, 6'2" with a 77-inch reach. Thomas Peterson, 30 years old, 6'1" with a 74-inch reach. Petrino, 2 years younger, 1-inch height advantage and a 3-inch reach disadvantage. We have Petrino, who is 3-2 in his last 5 fights, a knockout win against Modestas Bukauskas, a decision win against Tyson Pedro, submission loss to Anthony Smith, knockout loss to Dustin Jacoby, and a submission win against Austin Lane. As far as Thomas Peterson, he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. He had that submission win against, remember that 5'5" heavyweight Chandler Cole? Submitted Chandler Cole on the Contender Series. Lost to Jamal Pogues by decision. Beat Muhammad Usman by decision. Lost by knockout to Shamil Gaziev. And then beat Dontel Mays by decision. So yeah, Petrino came up at heavyweight. And they gave him Austin Lane, which was pretty much a layup. And now, I mean, this is a much tougher matchup than Austin Lane because, you know, Peterson, he's a tough dude. Peterson can wrestle. But we do have Vitor Petrino now as a minus 300 favorite here. I mean, this kind of feels like another stay away fight for me because I don't think, you know, Peterson's shown, you know, many great things. I mean, he beat Dontel Mays. Like, who cares? Muhammad Usman. I think he's a lot better than he's shown. But I don't know. Petrino could potentially knock him out, I guess. I don't know. This is a really weird fight. I don't know what to expect in this one. We got Petrino, who's a light heavyweight, who's coming up to heavyweight. And to be fair, like, he looked really good at heavyweight. I think he weighed in at like 240-ish, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was like high 240. I was surprised that he weighed that much, but he looked really good. Put on a ton of muscle. So I don't know. I mean, Petrino minus 300. I don't know how to feel about it. He actually opened up minus 350. So what are your thoughts on this fight here?
Yeah, it's tricky. You know, we finally saw Thomas look like a legit wrestler in his last fight, you know, because we didn't see it in the Gaziev fight. He got knocked out almost immediately. In the Usman fight, he had next to no grappling success at all. He couldn't get Jamal Pogues down either in his debut. You know, like, he got Pogues down at the end of the first round, and he maybe won the end of the first round by getting that late takedown. Couldn't get takedowns in the second round, couldn't get takedowns in the third round. He wound up having to count on his boxing, you know. But against somebody like Dontel Mays, who's got no ground game and some of the worst takedown defense in the heavyweight division, we finally saw what Thomas Peterson looks like when he can get his wrestling game going. And it looked really good. I mean, if he can get a guy like Mays down, you know, who's huge for the division, that's going to be something that we really need to see that from Tom Peterson if we're ever going to be betting on this guy at this level. It's never going to really be the boxing for him that's going to get it done. You know, maybe he lands a big left hand and knocks people out. Like, he's done that a couple of times on the regional scene where you're like, holy shit, Tom Peterson just knocked that dude out. But, you know, at this level, if he's not wrestling successfully, it's going to be really hard to back this guy. And Petrino is a guy that is a good grappler in his own right. And, you know, the thing that's going to bother Peterson, I think, is when he gets these athletic, explosive guys. Because Tom Peterson is not athletic. He's not explosive. He's got really good wrestling, though. So I think Petrino can throttle this dude on the feet. And if he can stuff the takedowns as well, I think he's going to look minus 300, you know. But if Tom can get his grappling game going and start to tire out Vitor Petrino a little bit, you know, if he has grappling success early, this is going to be fucking greasy, dude. Because it's not like Petrino is this guy that's going to turn up in the third round and finish you like he's Yuri. You know, he's kind of got to get it done a little bit early if he's going to win. So I'm interested to see how the wrestling is going to look for Vitor, because it's going to get tested. Look at his last 5 opponents. Austin Lane sucks. Dustin Jacoby never wrestles. Anthony Smith never wrestles. Tyson Pedro never wrestles. Modestas Bukauskas never wrestles. And even before that, he's fighting guys like Bellato on the regional scene and some other guys that just they're not that good, you know. So I think Petrino still has a lot to prove here, and there is a path for Thomas Peterson if he gets his wrestling going. If he consolidates top control, he's going to be able to win minutes and bank rounds and potentially even find a finish with ground and pound if he can get to that right spot. But I think that Petrino is so much more explosive. He's so much more powerful. He's so much faster. So I think that at some point he's going to find the off button on Peterson.
Yeah, I suppose that could happen. I think this fight's going to be greasy. This is a greasy fight. It's a really weird fight. But yeah, Petrino minus 300, Peterson plus 250. The over-under set at 1.5. I don't hate the over. Over 1.5 minus 170. I don't hate it. I can see it.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I mean, like, I'm not exactly sure how explosive Petrino is going to be up at heavyweight, you know?
I mean, he didn't knock out Austin Lane.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. I don't know, man. This is a greaser. But yeah, over 1.5. I think I like that more than the Petrino minus 300. But yeah, not too interested in this one. I like Petrino, but that Anthony Smith fight got me messed up. Yeah, you don't love to see it, but I mean you don't love to see it. And he got me messed up in that Jacoby fight. I had Petrino by decision at a big number. I think you did too, Easy.
Yeah, I did too.
At a big number. And he just got knocked out. Like that hurt bad too. If Peterson can't get his wrestling going, he's gonna have to keep his butt all tight.
Yeah.
They kept saying Carlos Ulberg was the best looking. Did they forget about Vitor Petrino? I don't know.
Did you see that jacket that Carlos Ulberg was wearing yesterday?
No, I didn't. What was
he looked like a reject out of a Michael Jackson video. It was awful. A black jacket with 4 zippers on it, and all the zippers were on an angle. It's like,
oh God,
like, dude, he looked so stupid.
Yeah.
You're that good looking and you're going to dress like that. It's just dumb, man. You know, it's like good looking people, they can dress however they want, you know, and some people choose to do dumbass shit like wear a jacket with 4 zippers on it. Come on. What are you doing, man? Just a terrible fashion choice there.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Peterson is going to get the piping of a lifetime. Thomas Jefferson is going to get slept again. Maybe. We'll see. Fun fact, Carlos Ulberg used to be a stripper.
Not surprised.
There you go. There you go. What is this graphic we were looking at? Please put pictures up of the fighters you're talking about. I mean, I tried to, and I got yelled at really bad. Where
the hell were you 3 weeks ago, Art?
I got yelled at really bad. You've got the stats on the screen, Art. You got the stats.
Stat diggers.
It's stat diggers. He killed Jamal Khashoggi. Who did?
I don't know who killed Jamal Khashoggi, but that's a high-level Saudi Arabian individual who died.
The train by KO. I don't know, man. I mean, he couldn't finish Dontel Mays. Just disgusting. I had an inside the distance bet there, and he 30-25s him. I hate when that happens. Hate it.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep moving on to the next fight. It is Jafel Filio going against Clayton Carpenter. We got Filio, 32 years old, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. We got Carpenter, 29 years old, 5'6" with a 66-inch reach. Carpenter, 3 years younger. Filio with a 1-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. We got Filio, who is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Made his debut against Muhammad Makayev, lost that fight by submission. Submitted Daniel Perez the fight after that. Submitted Ode Osborne the fight after that. Lost to Alan Nascimento by decision. As far as Clayton Carpenter, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He had the decision win against Edgar Chairez on the Contender Series. He beat Juan Camilo Ronderos by submission in his debut. Beat Lucas Rocha by submission the fight after that, and then lost to Tagir Ulanbekov in his next fight. So this is a very fun fight. I think this is probably one of the more intriguing fights on the card. We have 2 very high-level black belts going at it, and it's going to be interesting to see who kind of gets the better of the grappling. Clayton Carpenter is a guy I've had circled for a while. Like, this is a very high-level grappler, BJJ black belt, pretty good everywhere. The striking's pretty good, really good cardio, really good pace, solid wrestling as well. Took a massive step up in competition, though, in his last fight. He went from Juan Camilo Ronderos and Lucas Rocha to Tagir Ulanbekov, and Tagir was able to kind of go out there, take him down. And I guess that would probably be the path to victory for Filio here, which would be to get Carpenter on the mat here. But I think this is pretty much going to play out on the mat for the most part. Two grapplers going at it. I think that Carpenter is probably the better striker, but I think we get a grappling match here. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, probably a grappling match. I mean, we'll see, because Carpenter hasn't really stuffed takedowns yet at the UFC level. So, I mean, I think that if Filio wants this thing on the ground, he can make sure that it goes there. He may not get the takedowns, but he might want to just play guard and look for sweeps and stuff like that, because he's clearly very comfortable on the ground. But yeah, I think Clayton's going to be the better wrestler, and I think he's going to be the better striker. And right there, that's enough, knowing that he's 3 years younger and is on a different trajectory. But I think that Jafel's got better wins as a professional when in comparison to Clayton Carpenter. He's definitely got a lot more professional experience. So I think that this is a really interesting fight. I think it's a good thing that Clayton got that loss out of the way. You know, because some of these younger undefeated fighters, they fear that first loss. And Clayton Carpenter taking a step up from Rocha to Ulanbekov, it proved to me that this guy's not afraid to lose. He wants to see where he's at. He wants to test himself at a level that a lot of people wouldn't be willing to take a step up like that. And he kept it close enough. You know, I mean, like, Tagir did clearly win the fight, but Clayton put up a pretty good, gave some pretty good opposition to a top-notch fighter in Tagir. So, yeah, I think that this is going to be a really good fight, because Jafel Filio is a solid flyweight. This guy's got a little bit of power in his hands. He's got pretty good cardio, and he's got really good grappling. So he's well-rounded. He's experienced. He's tough, and he's a finisher. So I think this is going to be a really fun fight, and I think that this is the right test at the right time. Ulanbekov probably too much too soon for Clayton, but I think Jafel is going to be somebody that he's going to be able to show if he is the better striker, if he is the better wrestler. It's going to show in the octagon, and he's going to win this fight. So I'm leaning towards the Carpenter side here for sure.
Yeah, and it's the closest line fight on the card. We have about to pick him. Money has came in on Carpenter the last 24 hours or so. He's now minus 118, and Filio is currently sitting at minus 102. The over-under set at 2.5. The over 2.5 minus 165. The under 2.5 is plus 145 in Dixon call. It is the Civil War fight of the night. We're gonna have a lot of people on either side of this one, and that's those fights are always fun to watch, because somebody's gonna be wrong and somebody's gonna be right. Carpenter season, it could be. It definitely could be. I'm very high on this guy, so hopefully he can get this done. Tagir fight was closer than the scorecards indicate. Yeah, it was one of those fights where it was close but clear. Really easy fight to judge, but Carpenter definitely had some moments. Was having a lot of success in the striking against Tagir, but couldn't stuff the takedowns and ended up on bottom for a little bit too long. Uncle Weezy, are you able to tell us who got chinned during camp before 320?
No, I can't tell that. I did find out, but I didn't find out until after the fight. I had heard of somebody potentially getting hurt, knocked out in camp, but it was something I promised I wouldn't say.
Or last night?
Yeah, one of the main card fights last night, somebody had been knocked out in practice, and I did not know until after the fight was over. But I had heard from somebody, hey, bet on this fight to end by KO, and it didn't end by KO; it ended by submission. So I'll give you that hint. But it was a main card fight. But yeah, it didn't work out. Like the injury didn't play into it. It looks like.
I gotcha. Philly gets tired if he doesn't finish early. Yeah, he doesn't have the best cardio, and Carpenter definitely has the better cardio. All right, let's move on to the next fight. It is going to be, this should be a fun one, Lucas Almeida versus Michael Aswell. We got Almeida, 34 years old, 5'11" with a 71-inch reach. We got Aswell, 25 years old, 5'8" with a 69-inch reach. Aswell, 9 years younger. Almeida with a 3-inch height advantage and a 2-inch reach advantage. Almeida is he is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Michael Trezano, a submission loss to Pat Sabatini, knockout loss to Andre Fili, decision win against Timmy Kwamba, and then a decision loss to Danny Silva. As far as Michael Aswell, he is 3-2 in his last 5 fights. So he beat Bogdan Grad, but the judges scored it the other way. Said he lost, but he didn't lose that fight. He beat Dorian Ramos by decision, and then he lost to Balaji Oki in his debut. So, yeah, I think this is going to be probably one of the most exciting fights on the card because both these guys want to do one thing and they want to do one thing only, and that's just stand there and swing dicks. Almeida definitely has a lot more power, and Aswell definitely has more volume. And that's kind of what gets Aswell in trouble. That's kind of why he lost the grad fight, the Oki fight. It's like he can dish out a ton of volume. Like this guy's volume is absolutely unreal. He has a really good cardio. He can push a really hellacious pace. But the shots that he's landing, they're not really having much effect on his opponents. He doesn't really seem to have much power. I don't really think he's going to get really many, if any, finishes at the UFC level. But this guy can throw volume. He lands over 9 significant strikes per minute between that grad fight and Oki fight. Landed 118 strikes against Balaji Oki over 15 minutes and landed 155 significant strikes over the course of 50 minutes against Bogdan Grad. So I kind of feel like it's a close fight where it's going to be, Aswell just landing a lot more here, but Almeida's the guy with the power. Almeida's the guy going to be hitting harder. So I think this should be lined pretty closely. And it is. Michael Aswell, slight favorite, -140. Lucas Almeida, +120. These guys are going to swing dicks. I think it probably goes to decision as well. What are your thoughts on this fight?
I think it's a good matchup for Almeida because this guy's a power striker, and Aswell is definitely there to be hit. But Aswell is moving back down to his natural weight class now at 145 because he made his debut up at 155 because he was a short notice replacement for Balaji Oki, who he was supposed to fight someone else and they pulled out. So, but yeah, I agree with you. Like Aswell is a good, well-rounded fighter with a nice resume from a really good promotion in Fury FC. He's well coached. He's got great volume, 4-ounce Fight Club guy, and like that's Josh Van. That's Aswell. We just saw somebody else from their fight a couple of weeks ago. I'm forgetting the name right now. So it's a camp that's really on the come up right now. But I just don't see the power there, and I don't see any offensive wrestling upside. And with Almeida, there's real power there. There's legit power there. This guy has got almost a 100% finish rate in 15 wins. He's finished 14 of them. This guy hurts people. So Aswell's chin is going to have to really hold up here. And even if it does, I could see a situation where Aswell's winning the minutes, and then he just eats 2 big shots, the biggest shots of the round, and the crowd goes nuts because it's in Brazil, and nobody in Brazil gives a shit about Michael Aswell. I can tell you that right now. They're going to be rooting for the hometown fighters. They always do. And every time Almeida lands, the crowd's going to be going nuts. Every time Aswell lands, it's going to be silent. And I think that Almeida will be doing more damage, landing the heavier, cleaner shots. And that should be enough to get him the win here. But the biggest stat that's keeping me away from this, Brady, Michael Aswell, 9.5 years younger than Lucas Almeida. It's a big deal in a weight class like this. At 34.5, you're getting near the end at featherweight. You see like Josh Emmett at 40, fighting in featherweight, but even then, a lot of these guys, they, after you're 36, 37, you're going to be fighting older fighters because the younger ones are going to run circles around you.
Yeah, I think it's a close fight, and I think it's going to be a like a damage versus volume type fight. Yeah, where Almeida lands the bigger shots. Like I'm almost certain that Aswell's going to land more. I mean, the amount of volume this guy throws is unreal, and I don't think Almeida's even surpassed 100 strikes yet in a UFC fight. The most he's gotten is 74. So I think Aswell is going to clear that, but Almeida is going to be landing the bigger shots. I think this goes over. Aswell's super tough. Both guys are honestly super tough. The over 2.5 is -162. I think that hits, but it will probably be a sweat because these guys are going to stand there and swing dicks. So yeah, close fight. Could go either way, and that's a good point that this is going to be in Almeida's country. So if it's close, it probably goes to him.
It could. It certainly could. You just never know what the judges are going to do. Sometimes, they pick against the hometown fight. You just never know. But
it all depends where the money.
Yeah, so the money has a lot to do with it. Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, Lucas Almeida right now +130. I don't hate it. And I like Aswell. It's just this guy has no power. I mean, just zero power,
Yeah.
zero wrestling. The volume's great, but I mean, Almeida has just a lot more power. A lot more power. Both guys very hittable. It's going to be a close fight, I think.
Yeah.
Aswell just relies on his hands with minimal power. Yeah. And Almeida carries more power through the rounds as well as wrestling. Aswell has wrestling but never uses it. Yeah, he didn't use it in the Oki fight, but he really couldn't there.
Yeah, he's
And
much
then,
smaller than Oki. Wrong weight class, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And then didn't use it against Grad. But yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next fight. We have a sanctioned murder. It is Vicente Luque going against Joel Alvarez. We got Luque, 33 years old, 5'11" with a 76-inch reach. Joel Alvarez, 32 years old, 6'3" with a 77-inch reach. Alvarez 1 year younger, 4-inch height advantage, 1-inch reach advantage. Luque is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Knockout loss to Jeff Neal. Decision win against Rafael dos Anjos. Knockout loss to Joaquin Buckley. Submission win against Themba Garimbo. And a submission loss to Kevin Holland. As far as Alvarez, 4-1 in his last 5 fights. Knockout win against Moises. Knockout loss against Sarukian. Submission win against Diakese. Knockout win against Brenner. And a knockout win against Shakar Close. So Alvarez is coming up to 170 pounds, and he's still going to have just a massive height advantage here. 4-inch height advantage for Alvarez, and he's finally at the weight class he probably should be. I mean, this guy's missed weight how many times? So it's good to see him up at 170. And I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that Luque's still fighting. You know, I thought this guy was done. I mean, after the Jeff Neal fight, he had the whole brain bleed, went out there against RDA, and we saw a completely different Luque where he wrestled, put cage push for 25 minutes, something we've never seen before. It was the very first boring Luque fight ever. And then quit against Joaquin Buckley, didn't want to get hit. And then he beat Themba Garimbo and lost to Kevin Holland. I was on Luque against Themba because Themba's horrible. But yeah, I'm worried about Vicente Luque. I'm worried about the durability. I'm worried about the chin, and those are just questions and concerns you really don't want to have against Joel Alvarez, who just has so much power in his hands and his kicks, and then also has just an elite submission game. I think Luque's screwed. It's like on the feet. Luque doesn't want to get hit these days. Luque hates getting hit these days. Like Holland hit him big in the second round. Hit him big in the first round, almost knocked him out, but hit him in the second round as well. And then Luque shot in for a takedown and got subbed. I kind of see something like that happening here because Alvarez, he's going to hit him with some big shots. And if Luque feels that power and he shoots in, I mean, he's getting tapped out. I mean, it's as simple as that. So it's kind of pick your poison. I think it's either Alvarez, knocking out Luque, or could be a club and sub, but I just really struggle to see where Luque wins this fight outside of, I don't know, landing a big shot or something. But this should be Alvarez. Alvarez is the second biggest favorite on the card, right behind Mesquita. He's currently sitting at minus 550. And I agree with the line. I just really struggle to see Luque getting this done. I know Alvarez has taken this fight on short notice, but should be Alvarez. The over-under is set at 1.5 rounds. And the over is plus 105. The under is minus 125. And I don't know. I kind of don't like that because Alvarez really took his time against Brenner. Really was patient in that Brenner fight. Was really patient in the Diakese fight. That fight went over. So I don't know. I kind of maybe like a fight won't start round 3 a little bit better. But I think Alvarez gets the win here and gets it done in very dominant fashion. Weezy, what are your thoughts on this fight?
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because Alvarez making the long trip from Spain all the way to Rio for this fight. It's his first fight ever at 170 pounds, and it's short notice for him. So to see him at such a big a favorite number, it's a little bit weird because I still feel like he could have problems on the scale even at 170.
Oh,
because this is a guy who at 155 was clearly killing himself, whether he made weight or not. He was clearly killing himself, right? So you would, like, when I remember when I was like, there's no way Joel Alvarez is taking a short notice fight. This makes no sense. He'll never make weight. And I was like, oh, it's at 170. So he should be able, but I think that Alvarez strikes me as the guy that might walk around damn near close to fucking 200 pounds. You know, he's 6'3", dude. I mean, what you're 6'4". What's the lightest you've ever been in your life? When was the last time you fucking made 170
Probably
in your life? Junior high?
5th grade.
Yeah, no shit, right? So like, I still feel like that this short notice and the weight cut could still be a problem here for Alvarez. But with Luque, I think he's done, dude. I remember in that Garimbo fight, I was trying to talk you out of betting on Luque. And that was one of the easiest cashes you ever had, by the way. And I was still like, dude, I don't know. Like, this guy might be completely fucking done. Completely done to the point where Themba runs through him. And he proved that he's not that done yet.
Oh.
But I mean, this is a tall order, dude. Joel Alvarez is such a tough opponent, man. And it's not like Luque has the kind of lockdown wrestling that's going to be able to put Alvarez on his back and avoid the submissions, right? Because Alvarez is so dangerous with his submissions, with his triangles, his arm bars, his guillotines, anything that if you try to wrestle him, he can easily put you in really bad spots because of how aggressive he is with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And on the feet, Alvarez is just going to pressure this guy. He's going to walk him down. He's going to throw a lot. He's going to throw the heavier shots for sure. And Vicente's distance striking defense has always been awful. So, yeah, I mean, I think Luque's done. He's only 33 years old, but that Jeff Neal fight was a life changer. And I just don't think he'll ever be the same because he was a guy whose durability and heart were his best weapons. And I think that those are gone now.
I know. It's like Luque was the last person I would ever say would quit in a fight. But he blatantly, it was the biggest quit job I've ever seen, I think. I mean, I haven't seen a bigger quit job than that Buckley fight. So, yeah, borderline sanctioned murder. I don't know. The under 1.5 at -25. Like, it'd be so annoying if Alvarez kind of took his time like he did in the Brenner fight. Like, he waited till there was 2.5 minutes left to pour it on. So I don't know if I'm going to get involved in this fight. We'll see what other props stick out throughout the week. Joel, by whichever method he chooses, and it's going to be tough. I mean, it's going to be very tough. They're going to have the KO and the sub very similarly priced. They're going to make you pick. Is it KO? Is it sub? And I don't know. It could be either. Whichever he wants. Alvarez by KO sub, it's going to be a horrible line. The inside the distance. He's -550. He has a 100% finish rate in 16 wins.
Yeah.
No.
22.
22. Oh, God.
22 wins, dude. 17 by submission, 5 by knockout.
Dude, we might get an inside the distance line opened at like -250, 300. I mean, it's gonna be so bad.
You might as well just play the money line, dude. It's
Yeah.
gonna be one of those where people are gonna be pissed off at him if he doesn't finish, but they should be pissed off at themselves for just not betting the money line. Like Julius Walker inside the distance -800. Julius Walker money line -800, and then people were like, I can't believe he didn't finish him inside the distance. There shouldn't be one person saying that. You know, when the money line is the same as the inside the distance, please play the money line.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of common sense, but some people don't. So technically, I'm like 6'3", but in basketball, I always listed myself at 6'4", just because you got to get that extra inch in there. So people ask, I do say 6'4" sometimes.
It's 6'4" in shoes. You know,
Yeah.
That's the most important thing. So you are 6'4" on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alvarez by sub. I can see it. Alvarez at ITD is a max bet. We'll see what the line is, man. If they give a playable line, then I'm down. I'm down with it. I'm not counting Vicente out. No. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if he has anything left. Even if he's not washed, it's like I don't know how he wins this fight. Even if this was a much better version of Luque, it's like I don't know. Does he take down Alvarez and control him? No. Does he? You'd have to like knock him out or hurt him on the feet.
Even the best version of Vicente Luque was a punching bag.
Yeah, he was very hittable.
Yeah, he's always been a punching bag. You know, so that never changed. He never had to change that because he was so durable. And you watch that Jeff Neal fight. He's in trouble like 7 minutes before he gets knocked out. You could tell that anybody else would have been out of there 4 minutes before that knockout finally actually happened. And it's because Luque was always too tough for his own good.
Yeah, and that style, it's going to catch up with you. Unless you're Max Holloway. It's going to catch up with you. We see time and time again these very tough, durable guys take this much damage, and it adds up. And boy, did it add up with Luque. Boy, has it added up.
Yeah.
What are the best bets for finishes on this card? Well, this fight, this is
Joel
probably
Alvarez is a good one.
this is probably
Via Mesquita, probably a pretty good one.
yeah. Those two probably the best two there. Yeah, probably those two. All right, and I gotta take the dog out real quick, so I'm gonna queue up this fight to you, and then I'll be back in maybe like 5 or less minutes, Wheezy. So we got Ricardo Ramos going against Con Offley. We got Ricardo Ramos, 30 years old, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. Con Offley, 32 years old, 5'6" with a 64-inch reach. We got Ramos, 2 years younger, 3-inch height advantage, and an 8-inch reach advantage. Ricardo Ramos is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. A knockout win against Danny Chavez. Submission loss to Charles Jourdain. Submission loss to Julian Erosa. Decision win against Josh Kulabau. And then a decision loss to Chepe Mariscal. As far as Con Offley, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Had that knockout loss to Marion Santos. And then a decision loss to Muhammad Naimov. And I hate when they do this, Wheezy. They're taking 2 guys that I'm actively looking to fade.
Yeah.
And they're putting them against each other. I think Con Offley is one of the worst to ever do it. But I also think that there's a serious problem with Ricardo Ramos's durability, a serious problem with the heart at times. And this guy's been finished just how many times? So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of either one of these guys. I want to fade them both, but they're fighting each other, so that's not possible. What are your thoughts on this fight, Wheezy?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is a tough one to break down. Con Offley is somebody who can absolutely wrestle, and that's how he wins minutes, that's how he banks rounds, and that's how he wins fights. He's finished 7 of his 11 wins on the regional scene, but when you watch him at this level, you realize that this guy's not going to be finishing fights at this level. He's going to need to dominate grappling exchanges in order to win minutes and bank rounds, because his striking he's never going to win moments at distance striking range. And his minute winning ability is it's just not going to be there because he's a 5'6" featherweight with a 64-inch reach. He's undersized for the division. So he's going to need to close distance. He's going to need to be able to wrestle. He's going to need to be able to fight in a phone booth so he doesn't give away these massive height and reach disadvantages that he's going to be at this division against pretty much anybody that he fights. In addition, Con Offley's from Australia, and he's flying all the way to Rio de Janeiro for this fight. So just like we talked about Stuart Nickel earlier, who's from Perth, here we got another Australian guy who could have been on the Perth card 2 weeks ago, but he's not a guy that moves the needle enough. So now, instead of fighting it in his home country at Perth and having a home field advantage, he's got to go to Brazil, a 20-hour flight or something like that. It'll take him more than a day to get there. And he's going to be fighting in front of a very unfriendly crowd, saying that he's going to die. And Ramos, I mean, it's really hard to talk about this guy's career. He's actually 8-6 in the UFC, and he's been around here for a while. When he came into the UFC, he was like 21 or 22 years old. So this kid's been around here for a while. He can absolutely grapple, and he's got way, way more moment-winning ability in this fight. Ricardo Ramos has got a couple of wins by knockout. Both of them come by way of a spinning back elbow, which we've seen that's a weapon that's being used a lot more, and it's been used in a way that it's been finishing fights for a lot of people at this level right now. Ramos is also very aggressive with his Brazilian jiu-jitsu on the ground. And, there's going to be a big shift in price, because I actually bet on Ramos last time around against Chepe Mariscal because he was something like a plus 500 underdog. It was a crazy line. I think I got him at plus 475 or something like that against Mariscal, who's not this killer, but Ramos just went out there and lost those minutes against that guy. And actually, Mariscal is kind of built similarly to Con Offley, and he's got kind of a similar skill set, but Con Offley is like a dime store version of Mariscal, who's got a lot more experience, who's got a much better resume, and who has performed way better at the UFC level than Con Offley has. So this is not a fight that I'm looking to get involved with much. Let me look and see where the line is on this one. We've got Con Offley sitting at plus 157. Ricardo Ramos minus 182, and the under 2.5 here sitting at plus 145 for this fight. Yeah, I mean, Brady, I'm not really looking to get involved with this that much. I mean, I think Ramos should win this fight, but his wrestling is going to be tested. And if he can be taken down and held down, there's going to be a path for potentially Con Offley to win minutes and bank rounds in this fight. But he's got to try not to get bonked. That's going to be the key, because Ramos is throwing crazy shit, spinning shit, jumping shit. And then he can mix in the grappling as well. Like his fight against Kulabau, I had money on him. And I remember thinking, like, this guy's awful, you know, because like Kulabau's got no takedown defense. And I heard I had bet on Ramos. I bet on Ramos because I was like, he should be able to take down Kulabau at will. And then in the first round of the fight, I hear John Anik say, well, when we had our fighter meeting with Ricardo Ramos, he said that he's not going to grapple today. He said that he's going to test his striking. I started screaming, no. And it's sure enough, he's losing all the striking battles and winds up getting takedowns in 2 of the 3 rounds and almost finishing the fight. And he winds up winning a very, very close decision that if he had any fight IQ at all, he would have easily run through Joshua Kulabau by just pushing the grappling exchanges of that fight. So yeah, I don't want any part of this fight, dude. None of it.
No, it's just two fades going at it.
Yeah. And you're laying juice on one of them.
Yeah. Do you want to lay juice on a guy with no durability, a guy with no fight IQ, a guy with questionable heart, or do you want to bet on the underdog and Offley, who's just awful, who's just terrible? I don't know. It's bad. It's very bad.
Don't like it.
Maybe the under. I mean, but then one of these guys would have to be good enough to finish the other. Is the problem?
Yeah. And I don't think they are, man. I mean, look at these guys who they're finishing. It's like freak spinning back elbows by Ramos. I mean, he was thought of as a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu prodigy when he first came into the UFC, but we're not really seeing him use it to much success lately. So no. I don't know, man.
He has 2 spinning back elbow knockouts.
Yeah,
and a rear naked choke against Eduardo Garagori, but those are his finishes. So yeah, it's rough. Con Offley, Offley.
Yeah.
We got Eileen Perez's butthole saying he played Alvarez Luque under 1.5 at minus 125 for 1 unit. Yeah, I'm hoping Alvarez comes out here and kind of fights like Pereira did. Just pressure this guy, and the fight will be over shortly after.
Yeah,
but. If he takes his time like he did in the Brenner fight, I mean, it could get extended, I suppose. But, I mean, he should be able to make it look easy. All right. We'll move on to the next fight. It is going to be Janata Diniz going against Mario Pinto. We got Diniz, 34 years old, 6'4" with a 79-inch reach. Pinto, 27 years old, 6'5" with a 79-inch reach. Pinto is 7 years younger, 1-inch height advantage, and you got the same reach there. Diniz is 3-2 or 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He knocked out Eduardo Neves on the Contender Series. It beat Austin Lane by knockout, beat Carl Williams by decision, lost by TKO to Marcin Prachnio, and then beat Alvin Hines by decision. And I had Diniz by KO there that night, Weezy, and it didn't hit. And do you want to know why it didn't hit?
Because Alvin Hines was juiced up on goofballs.
No, he was juiced up with everything imaginable that night. So my KO prop does not hit. And unfortunately, do not get my money back, even though Alvin Hines was cheating very, very badly. But Mario Pinto, 5-0 in his last 5 fights, got a knockout win on the Contender Series, and then beat Austin Lane by knockout. So I remember taping this guy, Pinto, for the Contender Series, and I wasn't too impressed. Like, he's a solid striker. I don't think he has a ton of power. And I guess he kind of proved me wrong in the Contender Series when he knocked out that dude at, very early. But and then I did have a bet on Pinto in some sort of fashion. I don't know if I had the under 1.5. I don't know if I had Pinto by KO. I had something like that. And I was watching the Austin Lane Pinto fight, and it's like Austin Lane was beating this guy's ass. Austin Lane was kicking his ass. I mean, Austin Lane almost finished this guy. In the first round, Austin Lane outlanded Pinto 20-7, dropped him bad. almost finished him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way. There's no way this is happening right now. I have a big bet on Pinto finish. I'm like, there's no way this is possibly happening. And then Lane gets knocked out early in the second round. And Austin Lane could have easily won that fight had he not went full, in the second round. But he got caught in the second round. But yeah, Pinto was looking very rough there. So I'm looking at this fight, and I'm looking at the line, and it's like Pinto's minus 121, Denise is plus 101. This is a striking fight. This is a fight that's going to take place on the feet. And I kind of lean with the dog here. Like, Denise is a very high level striker. He should have knocked out Alvin Hines. I mean, he hit Alvin Hines with some massive shots. And if you're getting dropped by Austin Lane, I kind of question your durability a bit. I think minute for minute, Pinto probably the better minute winner, I suppose. But I think Denise has just a lot more power. So yeah, I kind of lean to the dog and Denise. It's definitely a greasy fight, but I think Denise is the better striker with more power here. So give me Denise for the win at plus money. But I don't know. It is kind of another one of a greasy fight, Weezy.
Yeah, like Pinto was a guy I didn't look at much before the Lane fight because I felt like he was being overpriced, and I don't want to bet on Austin Lane. So I watched a lot of his footage last night after the fights were over, around 2-3 in the morning, and I'm impressed by this kid. He looks really calm in there. He looks really confident, and he looks confident in his striking. And like I watched his fight against Benjamin Sahich. Which was like, that dude was massive, dude. That dude was like 6'8", and he was cutting weight to make 265. And then he fought like a bowling ball named Kasim Aras, who was a wrestler who was kind of holding him up against the cage. But Pinto was just absolutely piecing these dudes up at range and doing good in terms of stuffing the takedown attempts and stuff like that. So I feel like this guy has got good enough takedown defense to keep fights standing at this level, and his kickboxing looks pretty smooth. But the one thing that I'm lacking on the Pinto side is any kind of urgency whatsoever.
Oh,
right? I mean, did you notice the same thing? This guy looks like he looks comfortable and confident, but it just feels like he's so confident that he doesn't have to do anything. The finish is just going to present itself to him. And that's not how it works up here. The heavyweight division is the worst division out of all of them, but still, you can't just wait and think that somebody's going to make a mistake and eventually just give you a win. And especially you're fighting somebody like Denise, who's clearly knows who he is as a fighter. He's a kickboxer. He's not going to try to take down Pinto. He's not, and he's probably going to try to stuff the takedowns that come his way from Pinto, and he'll probably will stuff them because Pinto's not really a wrestler. So this is going to come down to who's landing the bigger shots at range, who's the better kickboxer. And these guys are almost the same height. They have the exact same reach. Pinto's about 7 years younger, but Jonathan Denise has got way more kickboxing accolades. I think he's got more power on the feet. I think he's got better leg kicks. I think he works all the areas on the body better. I think he's going to knock this dude out, man. I think Pinto's good. He's a really good prospect. But this is a tall order, going all the way from Portugal to Brazil to fight a Brazilian. And I think that this guy trains in the UK. This is a long flight for him. So, I think that's going to be an interesting fight. I think Pinto is really good, but I think this is a good matchup for Denise.
Yeah, I was thinking the same. Like, I'm watching some of these Pinto fights. I'm like falling asleep in some of them.
The Aras fight was terrible, dude.
Oh, you shouldn't be falling asleep in heavyweight fights.
Yeah, I know, dude. And the other night, I remember going to bed trying to watch Ankalaev fight. The next thing I know, it's like 6 a.m, and I'm still on the couch, and there are lights on. I'm like, that's what I fucking get for watching Ankalaev fight late at night.
Yeah, don't do that.
Yeah.
You'll definitely fall asleep. So why is the under 1.5 aligned at plus 165? I love that. Well, I kind of don't mind it either. It all depends, right? Like Pinto, some of his fights just soar over and nothing happens. But Denise is kind of a guy that he does push a little bit of a pace. But Denise has actually went over a couple times. Denise went over against Hines. Denise went over 1.5 against Tybura. Denise went over 1.5 against Carl Williams. Denise almost went over 1.5 with Austin Lane. So he's been over 1.5 in 3 of his 4 fights in the UFC thus far. So maybe that's why.
Was the Neves fight the one where Cormier was laughing because
Yes.
Neves gassed out after 45 seconds?
Yep.
I loved watching. I was like, but he was laughing. So I think he's gassed, like he's saying they're
Neves
not
is
even a
horrible.
minute into the fight, dude.
Neves is horrible. That was hilarious. But yeah. I think Denise shows levels on the feet here. Could see it getting extended though, and the over 1.5 at -190 could look like easy money as a parlay piece. Is Denise the favorite here? Haven't looked at the odds for this card yet. So he is the dog. We got Pinto -120. Denise +100 around there. Pinto was halfway to getting fraud checked by Lane. It was close. I mean, he almost got knocked out by Lane. All right, let's keep moving on to the next fight. It is going to be Davison Figueiredo going against Montel Jackson. We got Davison Figueiredo, 37 years old, 5'5" with a 68-inch reach. Montel Jackson, 33 years old, 5'10" with a 75-inch reach. Jackson, 4 years younger, 5-inch height advantage and a 7-inch reach advantage. I mean, just massive tail of tape advantage there for Montel. Davison Figueiredo, 3-2 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against Rob Font. Submission win against Cody Garbrandt. Decision win against Marlon Vera. Decision loss to Piotr Jan. And a knockout loss to Corey Sandhagen. As far as Montel Jackson, 5-0 in his last 5 fights. Decision win against JP Bays. Decision win against Julio Arce. Knockout win against Ronnie Yaya. Knockout win against Damon Blackshear. And then a decision win against Daniel Marcos. I mean, this guy, Montel Jackson, like you said earlier in the show, it's great to see him finally get a pretty solid step up in competition. And to be fair, like Marcos is a good fighter. Blackshear's a good fighter, but if he beats a guy like Davison, all the credentials Davison has, whether he's at flyweight or bantamweight, I mean, Davison figured that'd be a really great win for Montel Jackson. Montel Jackson, one of the hardest, if not the hardest hitter in the bantamweight division. I mean, how many knockdowns does this guy have? It's got to be like 13, right?
It's 11 knockdowns, 11 fights, dude, for a bantamweight.
It's ridiculous.
Crazy.
It's ridiculous. I mean, and he's well-rounded, really good wrestling. He can get fights down to the ground. He has good grappling, and he just has a ton of power. The dude has the death touch on the feet. I think it's a really rough matchup for Davison. It's like, Davison's so much smaller. It's going to be tough for Davison to wrestle here. Davison's always been extremely low volume, whether he's at bantamweight or flyweight. He kind of relied on that power, and I still think he does have some power up at bantamweight, but yeah, outside of Davison landing a big shot, it's a rough night at the office for him, I'm thinking. So and the line does indicate that Montel Jackson's a -300 favorite here against Davison. What are your thoughts on this co-main event?
Yeah, who has more knockdowns than Montel Jackson? Davison Figueiredo.
Really?
Yeah, dude, he's got 12, man. He's got 12, but that's in 19 fights compared to 11 fights for Montel, and most of it is flyweight. But you don't want to short either of these guys' power. They're both explosive athletes, and if they hit you clean, it's going to be trouble for either one of them. So great fight here, but I've been waiting to see Jackson get this step up for a while, and the last 2 fights were good fights. Damon Blackshear, good step up in competition. Daniel Marcos, good step up in competition. Those are solid wins, but this is a name now. Now you're getting a former champion. You're getting a guy who's been in several 5-round fights, who's fought at the highest level under the brightest of lights on the biggest of cards. And he's fighting at home in Brazil against a guy in Montel Jackson, who's half of his UFC wins are against just trash. So, we don't want to leave out the fact that this is a step up in competition, that Jackson's been fighting at a completely different level of competition in the UFC than Figueiredo has. And this fight is in Brazil. I mean, I don't know how many times Montel Jackson has left the country to fight. It's probably not a lot, dude. I mean, we could look, but it's probably not a lot. This guy just doesn't fight very often. And they both fought on the same card last time. So this was the fight to make. And I think Jackson's going to win. I think he's the better striker. I think he's the better wrestler. He's 5 inches taller. He's got a 7-inch reach advantage. He's a southpaw. He's the more explosive athlete in this weight class. So, I mean, just there's a bunch of things on his side other than the fact that Figueiredo's got the better resume. And Figueiredo might be able to find a little bit of success with the wrestling too. I mean, the two losses at this level for Montel Jackson were Brett Johns and was it Ricky? Who beat him?
I think it was Ricky Simone.
Ricky Simone, yeah, because like so he got that was how he lost. They lost because when you're fighting a 5'10" bantamweight with a 75-inch reach, and we all know that his hands are the same size as Francis Ngannou. That's something that like you hear before every Jack Jenkins fight that he's broken 3 dudes' legs.
Oh yeah.
You always hear during every Montel Jackson fight that he wore the same size gloves as Francis Ngannou. So, Montel's got a cheat code in terms of measurables, athletic ability, speed, power, just everything that you can't teach. He's got all that shit. It's just we wish that he fought more. We wish that he fought better opponents. And now we're finally getting to see it, but he's 33 years old. It's shit or get off the pot time for Montel, but he's fighting a 37-year-old flyweight here who's, run at bantamweight has just been okay so far. But he's losing only to the best guys in Peter Yan and Corey Sandhagen. So Montel's got a lot to prove here. I'd like to see him prove it. But the line is really a prove it line, isn't it? I mean, Montel's got to be everything that we think he is if he's going to cover this line, which is what, minus 300?
Yep, making you pay. Minus 300 there.
Yeah, that's a big line, man. It's a big line against a much more experienced and tested opponent. And I'm interested to see how Montel handles Brazil, fighting in Brazil. Because I'll bet you, if you look at his resume, like this guy's probably never been to Fight Island, right? Pavlovich versus Blades was Vegas. Namajunas versus Cortez was Denver. The last fight was Des Moines. And he's from Wisconsin, so that's not a far trip. New York City.
It's a lot of Vegas.
Yeah, dude, this guy's never leaving the country. So, I mean, like, if this is going to be your first fight in Brazil, Montel's not going to like it. They're not going to treat him well there.
Yeah, a lot of Vegas. See some California, Atlanta.
So he's never left the country.
Actually, he has at Abu Dhabi.
Oh, when was that?
Abu Dhabi. That was against Brett Johns back in 2020.
And he lost that fight.
Other than that, it's just a lot of Vegas. Yeah.
So very interesting. Montel Jackson leaving the country for the second time to fight.
Yep, that's what it looks like.
Yeah. Yeah, it might be a tricky one, but Montel's the goods, dude. This guy, I'm sure that the reason he fought Jesse Strader and JP Buys and Hani Yahya is that probably a lot of guys were like, fuck you, I'm not fighting them. That's
a good point. That's a really good point. Yeah, I think he's the goods. I think all the skills there. But it's a really good test. This is not JP Bays. This is not Ronnie Yahya.
Yeah.
This is Davison Figueiredo. But yeah, so Jackson actually opened up minus 225, and he's now minus 300. So money has came in on Jackson. The over under stood at 2.5 rounds is minus 160. The under 2.5 rounds is plus 140. I don't know. It probably goes over, right? I mean, I could see Jackson like knocking down Figgy, but it's gonna be tough to finish Figgy. You got to think.
Yeah, he's not easy. I mean, he's not easy to finish, and like Corey finished him because of a knee injury.
Yeah.
So I don't know though, but I mean, like Montel Jackson, dude, this guy's never been hit. I promise you, he's never been hit like Montel Jackson's gonna hit him.
Absolutely.
So it's good. I mean, Montel's got to get this one, man. He's got to get this one.
Yeah. I think Montel Jackson is underrated, but he should not be minus 300. Bro, what the heck is this line? God of War is 37. Sooner or later, he's going to feel it. I'm hearing the flute song by Russ with Michael Jackson.
The flute song by Russ. I don't know that.
I know the flute song.
Okay.
It's a pretty good song. Don't eat the food. What? Where?
He's probably saying Montel Jackson going down to Brazil. He might get poisoned.
Oh, yeah. Hope not. Davison's going to be tough to KO. He's only been TKO'd due to an injury and a cut. Dropped only once in the UFC by Moreno. He's a tough dude. But I think there's a really strong chance he gets knocked down by Jackson. I mean, Jackson just knocks down pretty much everybody. We got Big Ed saying the lock of the card is Rocha. I'm telling you, heard it here first from Big Ed. We'll check back next week, Big Ed. We'll check back next week. All right, it is now time for the main event. I'm going to do a quick recap on these, or refresh on these likes. Okay, so we're at 98 likes. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But we need 100. We need 100 likes. And if we don't get 100 likes, we can't break down the main event.
No, God, no. We'll do a special. Let's just quit now. These guys don't want to give us 100 likes. We'll just quit now. We'll fucking pick this up tomorrow.
We just need 2 likes. There it is. Okay, we got 100
during the fourth quarter of Monday Night Football. That's when we're gonna pick this up.
Oh gosh, I don't even know who's playing tomorrow. Like, I don't know. I'm so done with the NFL already. We're 4 weeks in. My Survivor pick lost today. I lost on week 4. How do you lose on week 4 in a Survivor league?
Oh, it's the NFL, dude. A lot of people lose on week 1, man.
had the freaking Cardinals today. They were up 21-6 in the fourth quarter. They had a touchdown run with forget his name, but he fumbled at like the half-yard line. He let the ball down too early. The Cardinals later in the game get a pick, and then they fumble it and into the end zone, and the Titans score a touchdown. I mean, everything that could have went wrong. I think Murray fumbled too. I mean, that game took years off my life. I'm so done with NFL. But
yeah.
So tomorrow it is Chiefs Jaguars. Okay, it's a good game. Chiefs prime time. I can dig it, actually. All right, 99. Yeah, I think we have 100 likes.
Let's go.
What are the odds in the main event? It's about a pick 'em.
Mm-hmm.
You need some Eileen Perez nudes to return those years back onto. I mean, I think they'd put even more years off my life if I was viewing Eileen Perez's nudes. I mean, they're horrifying. Have you seen any of them? I mean, they're just terrible. Just
horrible. I haven't. I haven't.
I mean, it's bad. But I they're good. I gotta say they're good. I mean, Eileen Perez is a fan of the show. I bet she's watching right now. With
I hope so.
The caption, they can do the captions. It's probably captioned in Portuguese, so she can understand it, or Spanish.
Yeah, she speaks Spanish, man.
Yeah.
She's Argentina.
Oh yeah. That's right. All right. Is expected to go the distance. The main event, I think the over/under is at 3.5, and I think it's at a pickup right now. But let's talk about the main event. We got Charles Oliveira going against Mateus Gamrot. We got Oliveira, 35 years old, 5'10", with a 74-inch reach. We got Mateus Gamrot, 34 years old, 5'10", with a 70-inch reach. We got Gamrot 1 year younger, same height. Oliveira with a 4-inch reach advantage. So Oliveira is 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Submission loss to Islam Makhachev. Knockout win against Beneil Dariush. Decision loss to Arman Tsarukyan. Decision win against Michael Chandler. And then a knockout loss to Ilia Topuria. As far as Mateus Gamrot, he is 4-1 in his last 5 fights. A decision win against Jalen Turner. A knockout win against Rafael Fiziev. A decision win against Rafael dos Anjos. A decision loss against Dan Hooker. And then a decision win against Ludovic Klein. And this fight is just, it's so tricky for me because Oliveira, this guy is, 35 years old, and it's not too old, but I mean, this guy has so many fights, so many wars. He's taken so much damage, 47 fights for Charles Oliveira, coming off of a brutal, devastating knockout that was like 2 months ago, almost 3 months ago. Like that's too soon. That's way too soon for Charles Oliveira. Isn't somebody stepping in on short notice here, Weezy?
Gamrot.
For who was the original fight?
Oh,
was it Oliveira versus was it Hooker?
Was it Hooker? Let me look. I got it right here.
I forget.
Fiziev.
Okay. So Gamrot stepping in on short notice. I don't know because I'm kind of worried about the durability, the really quick turnaround from Oliveira. I mean, you have to be. I'm worried about all the damage that has piled up throughout the years, but I'm also kind of worried about Gamrot. I mean, Gamrot in some of these fights, like there's just some sketchy moments in these fights, like the Dan Hooker fight, the Jalen Turner fight. I thought he lost the Jalen Turner fight. I mean, he was getting hurt with everything that Turner was landing, man. I mean, and Charles Oliveira is dangerous. Charles Oliveira, he's one of these guys that just has the death touch on the feet. He has the elite submission game. So wherever the fight is taking place, whether it's in the striking, whether it's in the grappling, like Gamrot's going to have to seriously bind his P's and Q's for 25 minutes. So I don't know. This is a very tough fight to go. I think a pick'em might be about accurate, with all the question marks and red flags on the Oliveira side. And I think Oliveira is very live to win this fight, but is this turnaround a little bit too quick?
I mean, it would be quick if he was fighting against somebody that had any power at all. And Gamrot has no power at all. I am blown away, frankly, by how the market values Mateus Gamrot. I've never seen somebody priced up at such a massive favorite that fights on such thin margins as Mateus Gamrot. I don't think he won the Sarukian fight. I don't think he won the Jalen Turner fight. And then he goes out there and he dominates a Euro trash grappler or striker in Ludovic Klein, and people think that now he's going to beat Charles Oliveira. This line makes no sense to me, Brady. I saw this and I laughed out loud today. It was the first time I looked at it. Like Gamrot's path is a 48-47 split decision where he sniffs crotch for 20 out of the 25 minutes and does no damage from top control. I could see Mateus Gamrot fighting a perfect fight for 3.5 rounds and then just getting clipped, knocked out. I mean, like, Gamrot's got the worst chin here by a mile. By a mile. This guy gets dropped in every fucking fight he's ever in. And by who? I don't get this at all. Like, Oliveira wins moments at a 20-time higher rate than Gamrot does. Oliveira has way more power on the feet. Oliveira is the way better submission grappler. Oliveira has the way better resume. And these guys are almost the same age. It's like Gamrot's almost 35 years old and Oliveira's almost 36. So I'm going to have a big bet on Charles Oliveira this week. This line doesn't make much sense to me. And I think if Gamrot does win, it's going to be on very, very, very thin margins, man. I think people get things mixed up. Like the Sarukian fight, anybody who beats Arman Sarukian, it's a phenomenal performance. But that was a weird fight, man. That was 25 minutes of scrambling, and nobody won. I mean, like that would have been the worst worst fight in the world to be a judge in, because nobody won any round. I think there was maybe one round that might have been decisive in that fight, and I forget who won it, because that fight was like indistinguishable to even to tell who won. But Charles Oliveira, I just think, is just so much more dangerous in every area of MMA compared to Gamrot. I think if you're betting on Gamrot and you're laying juice on him to beat a Brazilian in Brazil, you're not thinking that he's finishing him. You're not thinking that he's submitting him. You're thinking that he has to get takedowns in literally every single round, and that he's going to have to dodge constant submission attempts. And he's going to be at a massive durability, speed, and power disadvantage on the feet here. So I love it that the market completely overvalues Mateus Gamrot. I cashed big on Dan Hooker against that dude. Like they made Hooker like a plus 250, Brady. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I just don't get it. I mean, like, I think Oliveira beats a lot of the guys that have beaten Gamrot. So, yeah, this is Charles Oliveira for me.
Yeah. I mean, for Gamrot to win, he's going to have to fight a perfect fight.
Yeah. And it's going to be all wrestling. His striking's ass. His durability's ass. He's been dropped 5 times in 11 fights. He's getting dropped on over 1% of the significant strikes that he absorbs.
Yeah, and Oliveira hits very hard. A lot harder
Dos Anjos almost starch him.
I think, I don't know. Yeah, Dos Anjos dropped him, actually.
Yeah, Dos Anjos dropped. I mean, Dos Anjos, he's 40.
I know.
He's a 40-year-old lightweight. I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, I know Gamrot's a phenomenal wrestler. I get it. Look at his numbers, though. He has less than 31% total control time over his 11 fights. It's not like he's not this dominant grappler. He's not Hamzat Chimaev, you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it either. but I also don't get the total as well. Under 3.5 at a pick 'em. I kind of like that. I kind of like that and the Oliveira money line as well. Because
Yeah.
I'm sure you have the total in your on your prop model, right?
Actually, I didn't even know that the totals were out.
I mean it's got to be a massive trifecta.
Where is it at for the under 3.5?
A pick a -110. It's got to be a massive trifecta, right?
Massive trifecta, because 7 of 8 Charles Oliveira fights have finished under 3.5, and 1 of 2 Gamrot fights have finished under 2.5. So yeah, it's -110 is a massive, massive, massive bet.
Yeah, I figured it would be. But if Gamrot's winning, it's probably a lay and pray. But he doesn't really lay and pray that much. I mean, like you said, that control time, that's not a good sign for Gamrot. If it's only 31%.
Yeah, it's 31% in his career. It's not as big as you would think it would be. And then you also have to ask yourself, like, a lot of times you could get like 3.5 minutes of top time, but you might be in a triangle for 2.5 minutes of that. And the judges might see that as Oliveira winning the round because he's getting closer to finishing.
Yeah. Yeah, and if it does go the distance, it could be like a damage versus control type fight as well. So
yeah,
that's a very interesting main event. But yeah, I agree. I like Charles, but and I like the under. Yeah. Let's see here. Thanks for shedding light on Gamrot. Just like Pfeiffer, Freedom saying he's going to wrestle F him. He's going to try. He's definitely going to try. Gamrot had no training camp for the Turner fight. He was flying back and forth trying to get a visa. He was even in Canada during fight week, not knowing whether he would fight and still beat Turner.
He didn't beat Turner. It's a problem. I mean, he lost that fight too. And that dude's retired. That dude just quit.
Yeah.
So I know Gamrot's a good wrestler, So is Michael Chandler.
Mm-hmm.
How did Chandler do against Oliveira,
Yeah. Gamrot by split and make your millions. That's how he probably wins, by split.
Yeah, that would be the win condition, I think.
Gamrot dog walked Armin and out wrestled him. I mean, Armin dropped him in that fight.
And like, I don't remember anybody after that fight being like, wow, that was all Gamrot. Like that was a fight that was 50-50. And I mean, like, let's face it, a phenomenal performance by both guys. It was a great fight. But this is a completely different stylistic fight. Those guys are a lot alike. Oliveira is nothing like Gamrot. They're complete opposites.
Yeah. To be fair to Gamrot, on rewatch, he probably should have gotten the decision over Hooker and then arguably looked career best against Klein. And then Charles is coming from looking career worst against Chandler and being flatlined from Ilya. Yeah.
Didn't he win all 5 rounds against Chandler?
Yeah, he did.
He okay.
Yeah, that's probably why the line's where it's at. I mean, Oliveira hasn't been looking great as of late, but
yeah.
Finish only Charles depending on the line. But I think they'll be all over it. You would think. Does Charles get the finish? Probably. If he's winning, probably.
Yeah.
Charles Gamrot fight doesn't go. With Alvarez Luque fight doesn't go. I don't mind it, but it would suck if Gamrot just wrestle left him for 25 minutes. Gamrot sticks his neck in his entries as well. Hooker had him in some ninja chokes, and those could be there for Charles, certainly.
Yeah.
5-unit bet on Charlinho. What do you think? 5 units? I think he's talking about Charles Oliveira.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm good with that. I don't know about 5 units, but it's gonna be at least 3 for me. But I'm waiting because it looks like the money's still coming in on Gamrot, so I'm gonna wait to see where it goes.
That's wild.
I mean, I'll take it. I know why people are betting on Gamrot. He's a very, very good wrestler, and he's younger, and American top team, all that stuff. But I just don't think he's the opposite of dangerous. Every one of his finishes has been a complete fucking fluke.
I know.
Think about it. Like 2 injury finishes. The Ferreira finish was an injury. The Fiziev finish was an injury. He knocked out like Scott Holtzman.
Yeah.
And then, and I think he got Stevens. He submitted Jeremy Stevens, right?
Yeah.
I think Oliveira might be a little bit better of a grappler than Jeremy Stevens. So
Just a little bit. When Gamrot beat Turner on short notice, Turner was on a 5-fight finish streak. Just because Turner is now retired isn't impressive. Makes no sense.
He
Well, yeah,
didn't beat him.
yeah. I thought. I mean,
I had money on Turner in that fight, and he didn't fucking beat him. He
if
took all the damage. He sniffed
yeah.
crotch.
I mean, if fights are scored based off of damage, he definitely didn't beat him.
No. But it was great crotch sniffing and short notice, whatever. I mean, Jalen Turner is a horrible wrestler.
Oh,
horrible fucking wrestler. The guy's never stopped a takedown in his life, and Gamrot could barely out wrestle him. So no thanks, man. Go ahead, take him. Please keep pushing fucking Charles Oliveira to plus money in Rio for me, please. You can keep your butthole clenched for 25 minutes while this dude tries to sniff crotch and win 10-9s. Go ahead.
There you go. There you go. All right. We did it. We got Moise saying, I just saw Russian Ronda's IG. She's eating Brazilian chocolates and candy. She is not making weight.
Candy on fight week.
There you go. I was just on her IG. I didn't catch that.
Oh, God.
I saw her in like a bikini and she's like smacking her butt, but I couldn't show that on the show. She's really weird. Really weird. Yeah, there we go. What is she doing there? She's in Brazil. She's enjoying a good view there in Rio de Janeiro. Very good view there of the city. And let's see. Oh, there we go. She's some striking footage there with Alexeva. She's looking good. Hands looking good. The hair is. Look at this hair. The hair is flowing for Alexei. Look at that. Look at the hair bouncing there.
Yeah, it's curly, right?
Yeah, it's a perm. It's just flowing, just bouncing, it's flopping around. Let's see what else we got. Okay.
If she can keep it standing against her.
Okay, good knee there. I'm liking what I'm seeing. I think there might be some value at plus 450. Good takedown defense there. There she is. What's she doing? Okay, she's having some chocolate. Yeah, she is.
Oh my God! Yeah, you shouldn't be eating that stuff on fight week.
But there she's climbing a rope. It looks like, or something.
Vines.
Vines.
She's swinging from vines.
Okay, let's get off of there. All right. So what we got to do now is come up with a parlay. Last week we did it. What was it? Joe Pyfer, Soriano, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Pretty. I don't want to say pretty sweat free. I mean, the first round of the Piper fight was a little bit sweaty, and then the whole Soriano fight was sweaty, but it hit regardless, right? So we got to do it again. 2 legs here. We got a couple money lines to choose from. We got some totals to choose from. Any legs sticking out for you, Uncle Weezy?
I mean, for me, it's just Charles Oliveira at plus 100. I don't get this line. I feel like he should be a much bigger favorite. So I want to get some serious plus money on this one, and then we can find an. I mean, like, parlay him up with Walter Walker. How the fuck is Muhammad Usman going to beat this guy?
No, I was gonna do, since you took Oliveira, it's already plus money. I was gonna take the easy way out and go with Alvarez.
All right, let's do it. It's plus money, so that we got some good value there.
So that would be around plus 144 for those two.
Beautiful. Okay.
I
think that's a good one, man. We'll take the Brazilian fighter in Brazil against the short notice Gamrot here, and I think that there was a lot of good ones, like even Walter Walker would have been good, but yeah, I mean, obviously Joel Alvarez is going to be a pretty easy win. It should be, at least.
Yep. All right. So what we're going to do now is come up with the piping of the week. So for the piping of the week, we got a couple options here. Vitor Petrino is definitely capable of laying a piping.
Yeah.
Somebody's probably getting piped in the Denise Pinto fight, but Joel Alvarez is capable of a piping.
Yeah.
And it's probably between those two. Probably Alvarez or Petrino.
Yeah, and the thing about Alvarez, coming off beating a durable guy like Brenner, right? And then going to a guy like Luque, who's actually admitted, that he just doesn't want to get hit anymore, and I can't blame him.
Yeah.
So I think that should be if I'm coaching Joel Alvarez, I'm telling him, like, go after this dude.
Like the Moises fight. Remember the Moises fight where
yes.
he said F it and just body kick him to death.
Yeah, he just destroyed. He ran through Thiago Moises like incredible. And remember, me and you, we didn't know that he was that good of a striker. We always watched him getting taken down and then putting dudes in triangles, and it was like, oh my God, he shot 0 takedowns and he just ran through that dude on the feet. I wasn't expecting that. Joel Alvarez, that's the thing about Alvarez that makes him so dangerous, is that he always was a striker. We just didn't know it.
Yeah, it was funny. Like he, in his earlier fights, he would always be talking, "Oh, this guy is such a good striker." And I'm watching his interviews, and it's like he's talking about his strike, and I'm like, from the fights I'm watching, he's getting taken down and getting subs off his back.
Yeah.
But it turns out it's true. He is a very, very dangerous striker. So I like that. So the on-site piping of the week is Joe Alvarez to pipe poor Vicente Luque on site this Saturday. I mean, this is a borderline sanctioned murder. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if Luque quit, and I wouldn't blame him if he quit in this fight. I wouldn't want to be in the same cage as Joe Alvarez. Absolutely not.
And you could tell as much from the original booking. They booked him against Santiago Ponzinibbio, who's another guy who's on his way out, who's aging out of the sport. And that's a fight that made a lot more sense. Argentina against Brazil, 2 veterans, that was great matchmaking. That was going to be a really fun fight. But now, Santiago got hurt. So, Alvarez raised his hand and said, shit, I've been waiting for the right opportunity to fight at 170. Because he's been saying that he needed to move up. Yeah. So I think he's going to look better at 170, Brady. I think he'll be even a better version of himself up there.
Yeah, he's not killing himself to make the weight. Still going to be dangerous. Still going to be huge. I mean, he's huge for welterweight. Like he's a big welterweight still. So yeah, this guy.
He's walk into the cage feeling so much better, dude. And he's not going to know what that feels like. And he's going to show up on fight day and he's going to be like, holy shit, I feel better. Because he's not literally putting himself on death's door 24 hours before to make weight.
Yep, I like it. Alvarez to pipe up. Poor Vicente Luque on site this Saturday. It's time for the milking. So for the milking, we got a couple of really good ones. We got, I guess, Julia Pilastri. I don't want Julia Pilastri. I don't think she's going to milk Carolina. Walter Walker could absolutely milk Muhammad Usman.
Yeah.
Somebody might get milked in the Nickel Rocha fight, but that's a closely lined fight. Mesquita could potentially milk Irina Alexeva. Somebody could potentially get milked in the Filio Carpenter fight. So yeah, I think it's probably between it's them. It's probably between Walter Walker and Mesquita, between those two.
Yep. Agree 100%. And the only thing is that I worry about a little bit is that Muhammad Usman's always had decent wrestling and decent cardio. And if he can keep the fight standing and doesn't wind up in that, like Walter Walker got the heel hook from the back last time. I've never seen that. Yeah, have you ever even seen anybody attempt a heel hook from having the body lock stand? I've never seen that. So that was wild, man. So I'm beginning to think that this guy can get a fucking heel hook from just about anywhere, man. And he's fighting heavyweights. That's what makes it so terrifying. If you were to do that at 145 2 or 3 times in a row, these guys are good enough athletes to figure out how to stay out of those situations. He might string together 8 or 9 of these fucking things because he's in the heavyweight division and everybody sucks.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So I think maybe, because Bia is such a huge favorite, maybe we go with Walter.
Yeah, I don't hate it at all.
And I think that if he wins, it's going to be grappling. He's not a knockout artist. He's not a striker.
Yep. I like it. All right. So here we go. The milking of the week. Walter Walker to milk the bad Usman this Saturday. There you go. We got the milking, Walter Walker. We got the piping, Joe Alvarez. We got the parlay, Alvarez and Charles Oliveira. I think we might go 3 for 3 this week.
I'm hoping we do. Because if we do, I'll be winning a big bet on Charles Oliveira this week too, if
There
that's
we
the
go.
case. Yeah.
So we got a newcomer. What's up? We got a newcomer. Is that Perla or Puria? I can't tell if that's an I or
Perla, P-E-R-L-A.
Are we got a newcomer, Perla? So the piping, when you think of a piping, it's a brutal knockout. It's a brutal knock. I mean, what's an example? Just like a brutal piping we've seen recently.
Oh, how about Jusang Yu against Jekka Seregi?
Yeah, that's a piping. I mean, it's one of those where you get stretchered out potentially. Just a really
Khalil Roundtree yesterday.
That was a piping.
He got piped.
He got piped on site.
Yeah,
Colton G style there. So that's a piping. Basically, we're looking for a knockout, a violent finish, a piping, a fight that's really not even close. A milking. When we're talking about milk, and we're talking about a slow grind. We're taking you down. We're wearing on you. We're draining you. We're draining that energy. We're pounding on you. We're chaining submission attempts together. Kind of like, for example, that would be the Jasmine Jazz the Vicious fight versus Priscilla Cachoeira.
Oh yeah,
taking her down, beating her up, chaining submission attempts, and eventually there was no milk left, and she got the tap in the third round, something like that, like a milking. So, and he brings it up here. So my definition is milk equals sub, KO equals pipe. Brady says it's a little different, but yeah, it's basically the same. KO equals pipe. Milking could be like a prolonged decision, just like a prolonged. But I do like to typically get the sub as well. So
yeah,
there you go. All right, so we did it. We's gonna let the people know where they can find you and all that good stuff.
You can find me on YouTube. The name of the channel is Uncle Wheezy. You can find me on X at MMA Wheezy, and you can find me on OddsShopper.com, where I have my $25 a month probability stats and content package. I gave away all the content for free last week. We did balls deep breakdowns on Wednesday night. We did probability on Thursday. I did the greasy four-legger on Friday, and I even put the link to my fight write-ups and to my spreadsheet that you see here, which has all of the over-under betting models, all of the prop betting models, all the matchup stats, the individual fighter stats. And there's still, if you look at my videos from last week, a 50% off your first month's membership link in the description of all the videos that I did last week. That'll be good until tomorrow night. And you'll be able to access all this phenomenal information and all the subscriber-only content that I do on OddsShopper.com. Great way to support my work, and a great way to give yourself access to more decision-making information when you're betting on the UFC. So anytime I can get any kind of support from people who enjoy this show and sign up on that probability stats and content package, it's phenomenal. But if not, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe for Brady, and leave us a comment down below. And let's stack cashed tickets like flapjacks for UFC Rio de Janeiro.
Let's do it. Go check out Uncle Wheezy there. Does Irina have any milk left? I think she has some milk left in her. I think she has.
Might.
Yeah, she got a little bit of milk left in her there. But yeah, guys, that'll do. We had a really good crowd tonight. But we haven't a crowd like this in a while. I know football season's been happening. We have 555 right now, Wheezy. That's amazing.
Damn, that's a lot.
Yeah. Most from X. A lot of people on X, decent amount on YouTube. So yeah, pretty good turnout for this Rio card. Absolutely. So thank you all so much for watching. If you guys could do us a favor, like on your way out, subscribe on your way out, and best of luck for UFC Rio. We'll talk to you soon. See you later.